Chapter 474. The people on Chao Harue's side were swept away by the typhoon. Fortunately, the big one continued to move up the river. They could not move because there was still a small one blowing around them. On Lu Zhou's side of the mountain, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan listened to the report from their subordinates. They were relieved to know that the wind did not blow the houses here. As long as the big one passed, there would be no problem. The rain seemed to have something to do with the typhoon, but it also seemed to have nothing to do with it. It was still raining. In fact, they could go back at this time. However, the two of them were worried that the wind would blow back again. After thinking about it, they went to the old people's side to ask about the situation. The old people were well arranged. They did not need to do any work at all. Under the shed, they and some of the children could enjoy the treatment of a bed. Needless to say, the children were everyone's hope. The old people did not care what others thought of them. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had to respect them. Whether they lived their lives to do things for their families or to help repair bridges and roads, as long as they worked, they would definitely contribute to this society. In the process of paying the rent, they were actually contributing to the country. They could not be old without someone to take care of them. Even if they did not know a word, even if they were stubborn, some of the rent they paid would be used for disaster relief and road repair. Who dared to say that they did not get any benefits? At least, they could live a stable life because the country used the money to form an army to protect them. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had planned to set up a special fund to settle some old people who could not do work. It was not pity, but respect. When they respected the old, they also respected history and heritage. At the same time, they also respected themselves. Lu Zhou's old people indeed enjoyed a blessing that they had never thought of before. They had a shed to shelter them from the rain and a bed under them. They did not have to worry about catching a cold. There were also people who specially prepared several meals for them a day. When one was old, one had to eat less and eat more. They were the group of people who were taken care of the most. No matter when they were hungry, they could ask someone to cook for them. As long as they took out the menu, the person in charge of cooking would introduce them to them. However, if there were some things that couldn't be eaten, they would definitely not cook for them. Usually, everyone could even drink some wine a day. Because of this, the elders treated the officials as their own sons. They even felt closer to them than their own sons and daughters. Zhang Xiaobao and Cuckoo naturally became their grandson and granddaughter in their hearts. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan didn't have much time, so it was impossible for them to accompany the elderly every day. However, there were many children here. Wang Wan would teach these children how to dance, draw, sing, and so on. After teaching them enough, she would let them take turns to play with the elderly in the nursing home. Even if their drawings were not beautiful, their singing was out of tune, their dancing was not beautiful, and there were always repetitions, the elderly did not hesitate to exaggerate. These elderly were all lonely old people who had no one to take care of them. Why would they care about good or bad when they could enjoy the happiness of a family? At this time, when Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan came over, the elderly showed a kind smile. The more they looked at the two sensible children, the more they liked them. Grandma Li, don't move. Your leg is not feeling well, and it's raining. It's painful to walk. Don't move. Xiaobao and I are coming. As soon as Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao appeared, an elderly lady came down from the couch with something in her hand to welcome them. Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao quickly sped up and ran to the elderly lady, one on the left and one on the right. This was not an act. Wang Wan's family had always been like this. The rules in her family had always been like this. Children must learn to be filial. Although the family began to appear after the liberation, the bigger the family, the more importance it attached to filial piety. Zhang Xiaobao had a good grandfather who taught him what it meant to respect the old and love the young. This made Wang Wan feel very magical. Generally, people like Zhang Xiaobao did not receive much help from society since they were young. Usually, they would complain about society. However, he was an exception. His original idea of making money was to repay society. Of course, many people did not agree with his way of doing things, but those orphanages were indeed built, and the roads in those mountainous areas were indeed built. While some people wanted to kill him, there were also many people who wanted him to live a long life. The old lady didn't know what the two children were like in the past. She only knew that she was good to these lonely old people, and that was enough. She pulled the two of them back to the couch, one in each hand. She even used her pinky finger to hold a bag on the hand that was holding Wang Wan. Come, this is the honey money I prepared for you two. It has been prepared for more than a month. You can eat it today. The elderly lady sat on the couch and opened the bag in her hand. Inside was the honey money wrapped in oil paper. It was specially made for Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Although she was old and could not do much work, it was not a problem for her to make some honey money. Eat it quickly. Your Grandma Li's honey money is the best. In the whole county, your Grandma Li's honey money was the best. Unfortunately, she stopped making it later. Old Hong said next to her. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan did not hesitate. They each took a piece of honey money and put it in their mouth. They also licked their fingers and nodded to show that it was delicious. It was indeed delicious, but it was too sweet. The two of them did not dare to eat too much. Granny Li, is your leg still hurting that badly? Let Xiao Bao rub it for you. Wang Wan smacked her lips and said to the elderly lady. The elderly lady moved for a while, nodded and then shook her head. It still hurts a little, but it is not like before. Every day, someone will help me rub it with medicinal wine. When the weather is good, there is no problem at all. Now it is cloudy and rainy, so it is a little uncomfortable. As the elderly lady spoke, she touched Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's heads with her hand. Her face was full of smiles. In the past, when she was in pain, she could not sleep at night. Since she came to the nursing home, with the prescription given by the Zhang family and the people who specially rub it, as long as the weather did not change too much, she would be fine. Wang Wan went over and pressed it. She covered her knee with her small hand, thought for a while and said, "In a while, I will ask someone to blow bubbles into hot water. Put it here, and it will not be so uncomfortable. There is no way to cure this disease. We can only take care of it. Grandpa Hong, is your ankle better? It seems that you need to eat more fish bones and fish liver. I will ask someone to use that as the base to cook a pot for you." The reason why old Hong could sprain his ankle was that he lacked calcium. There was no calcium tablet here, so he could only adjust it with diet. There were some vitamins in the internal organs of fish. Eating some crispy fish bones could replenish some calcium. Otherwise, if he only ate bones, the human body would absorb too little calcium. Okay, I will listen to you too. We old people have accumulated good karma in our previous lives. Otherwise, how could we meet people like you? Old Hong looked at Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan and said excitedly. He, who had no children, was already prepared to die, especially when he encountered the flood. At that time, his body was already very weak. He didn't expect that after the flood, nothing would happen to him. Instead, he found himself in a good place, which was a nursing home. He ate well, wore good clothes, slept comfortably, and even had someone to play with. His body and bones were gradually getting better. In addition, there were children to play with him every day. He did not want to die. He was ready to live for a few more years and enjoy a good life. The other old people also came to talk to the two children. In their hearts, the two children were their family. No one could hurt them. After talking for a while, Zhang Xiaobao asked about the business. Grandpa Wang, how long do you think the rain will last? Will the wind come back after one round? There is still a lot of work to do. We can't always hide in the mountain. The old man, who was called Grandpa Wang by Zhang Xiaobao, was blind in one eye. However, his only eye was very sharp. He could see the qi of the earth. In the past, he had helped to find the silver mine. No one knew how he saw it. Anyway, every day was divided into several periods. He looked at a certain place and finally knew whether there was a mine or not. It was a very powerful ability. In addition to looking at the mine, he could also see the qi of the earth. If there was more qi of the earth, it would flourish. If there was less qi of the earth, it would fail. Through this, he could predict the weather. With the help of the other old people, he could predict the weather very accurately. Grandpa Wang also knew that everyone was hiding in the mountain. No one was working in the province. These few days, he had been thinking about this matter with the other old people. At this time, when he heard Zhang Xiaobao ask, he said, "The wind will not come, but the rain will only stop after 5 or 6 days. These few days, it will be very heavy. We have to prepare early." "Thank you, Grandpa Wang. In a while, I will go back and tell my father to protect everyone. I will definitely not let anyone get into trouble. In that case, we will be washed again next time?" Sigh. This year, it has not been stable. Zhang Xiaobao did not doubt the old man's words. He thanked Grandpa Wang while complaining about the bad weather. Old man Wang chuckled and said, "Don't worry about the house being washed away. It's just a little bit of land that will be washed away. The main thing is that the 2 rivers were dug. The water that flows from the surroundings and the water from the mountains will flow along the rivers. It's much better than before. This is all thanks to the good officials." Hearing Old Man Wang's words, Old Man Hong also sighed with emotion. "Yes, without such a good official, let alone this time, we would have had to give up the last time. This time, we have 2 big rivers. Even if there is more water, we are not afraid of it. It's a pity that we can't help much. If I were 10 years younger, I would also help." "Xiaobao, you won't blame us, right? We can't do anything to help. We can only eat and drink. We don't know when you will be able to earn back the money your family spent this year. How about this? This year's harvest is a little less, but the rice is good. We can exchange some poor rice from other places and pay some rent. We will only pay to your family, not to the government." The other old people also agreed. They had seen the money the Zhang family spent time and time again. Of course, they did not know that the Zhang family had already made up for this loss. With so many local specialties and things that could be used as tributes, not only did the Zhang family not lose money, but they also made money. Especially those things that had not been sold, they would make more money in the future. This was the advantage of logistics and trade. The old people who did not know about these things felt that the Zhang family had lost money and wanted to find a way to compensate them. Zhang Xiaobao and the others wanted to do so. They shook their heads hard and said, No, my family didn't lose money. Those things that we exchanged were shipped to other places and we made a lot of money. My family is rich, so we don't need to worry about this. Even if we lose money every year, my family can still afford it." Zhang Xiaobao's words were very honest and did not hide anything. He wanted to reassure everyone. Otherwise, they would always think that this matter would affect their health. For Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, problems that could be solved with money were not problems. The main thing was that they had money. Wang Wan saw that these old people's eyes were full of doubts. She had no choice but to explain some things in a way that they could understand, including how to operate and buy and sell. The old people did not know such profound things before. After listening to Wang Wan's words, they were all stunned. They had never thought that the Zhang family still had a way to make money during the disaster. However, they were not jealous and did not think that there was anything wrong with what the Zhang family had done. After hearing this, old Madame Li said, "Now we are relieved. It turns out that money can be earned in this way. Yes, the family of a good official can't lose money. We have to earn more. The more money we earn, the more money we can take out in the future. The river here has been repaired, and the seaside dikes have been built. Those houses are also good. It's enough that we have a nursing home to live in. Now other people have good houses. In the past, we couldn't get such a good house and yard even after several lifetimes. It's a pity that such a good official will leave one day. I don't know what will happen to the official who comes back." Old Madame Li's words made the other old people silent. They also thought of this matter. Now they were living well. Not only did they have a stable place, but others also had a new home. The school was still under construction. When the time came, the children could go to school. There were also those medical centers. Now they did not need to spend money to see patients, and they only needed to buy medicine. In the future, they would only charge less for medicine. This was all because there was a good official. If the good official left and a new official came, it would be easy to handle. If it was someone like the one surnamed Sher, it would be easy to handle. He did not care about anything and would do what he did here. But if a powerful official came, wouldn't he be jealous of this place and take some of the benefits that were originally in his hands? How were they going to continue living like this? They wanted to prevent the good official from leaving, but that would delay the good official's future. Everyone fell into hesitation. Look, others are worried, right? Persuade them. Wang Wan touched Zhang Xiaobao and said softly. Zhang Xiaobao nodded. He had already thought about what would happen after his father left. He was not worried about the official who would take over. He said to the group of old people, "Grandpa, don't worry. Grandpa and Grandma, don't be afraid. No one can make things worse here. Even if my father goes to other places, things will still be done as they were when my father was here. When my father leaves, it will be impossible for the military and politics to be integrated. The provincial governor will be in charge of it, and there will be a military secretary. The people below would also be chosen. When the time came, if the new provincial governor could follow the rules, then nothing would happen. He would accumulate enough political merit and be promoted. If he dared to make a move against the common people, dared to make a move against the infrastructure, then he would be directly made a figurehead. Those chambers of commerce here are all our families. When the time comes, he will have no money and no people. He can only watch helplessly. If he wants to write a memorial to the imperial court to change the people here, then there is no need to worry. As long as he writes it, the one who will be replaced is him. As long as the commercial activities here are stopped for 2 months and then find someone to impeach him, he will be finished. Zhang Xiaobao told a part of the arrangement. In fact, he had other arrangements, but he could not reveal them too early. Wang Wan also knew that Zhang Xiaobao would not do things so simply. If that was the case, would he still be Zhang Xiaobao? If things were not handled well, the backup plan would be fatal. However, now that Zhang Xiaobao did not say, she did not want to get to the bottom of it. The more she knew, the more tired she felt. The old men and women did not know so much. As long as they knew that the days in the future would be as good as when the great official was still alive, they were happy. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan accompanied these old people and chatted for a while. When they saw that it was almost time for lunch, they left. They still carried the bag of honey money, ready to go back and let the family have a taste. It was really well done. The rain was still falling. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan knew that they would not be able to go back these few days. If they did not come out, they might be able to let the people stay below. Since they had come up, what if they were washed away by the flood behind them when they walked back in the heavy rain? Moreover, the people below could only hide in their homes and put the things in their homes on the wooden rafts, ready to be rowed out at any time when there was a flood and connect with the other wooden rafts to form a piece of land. This was already a tradition that the commoners were prepared to carry on. Every family had a wooden raft. In the future, when there was a flood, just like before, they would bring everything that they could carry. Then, everyone would work together in an organized manner. Now that they had all run up the mountain, the people could do other work here in the rain. Some were picking vegetables, some were starting to build wooden houses, and some were repairing bridges and making boats in places with pools in the mountains. There was no wage for this, it was considered voluntary work. After all, in the future, a tourism and resource development group would be established. When the time came, the group would take out a part of the profits and use it to benefit the local people. Now, the people were working for themselves and their descendants. The people were very serious about their work. Anyway, there was nothing else to do now. They were not feeling well all day long, and people who were used to working were like this. Now that the rain had not stopped, it was more difficult to pick mushrooms, and there were not many of them. However, the vegetables grew very quickly. A lot of ferns were picked, and they were all used by Zhang Xiaobao to make pickles. Although these ferns could cause cancer, the probability was too small. If it was really calculated, breathing could cause cancer. The main thing was that they tasted good, and they could also supplement the other nutrients the body needed. They could not deny everything just because one aspect was not good. While they were busy, Chow Harue and the group were also busy thinking of ways to bring down the trees. They were not thinking of building wooden houses, but they were preparing to set up wooden rafts. What kind of weather is this? Not only is the wind not enough, but it is also raining heavily. Now, this small hill is going to be submerged. Hurry up, do it quickly, or else no one will be able to leave alive. Chow Harue stood at the side in charge of commanding. With his physique, he could not do it. The others were trying their best to tie the broken trees together. They did not bring any saws or other tools, only a few small axes. It would be very tiring to use these axes to cut the trees. They directly gave up on the trees that were too thick, and only cut down the trees that were not too thick or thin. It was convenient to cut down the thin trees, but it was useless. The people on this ship, including Chow Harue and the other two, only added up to 58 people. The original shipwright was 55 people, and these people needed to make 10 wooden rafts. It was not that the wooden rafts were not good, but that the wood was wet. In the water, without people standing, only half of the raft would be exposed. If people stood, the whole raft would be in the water, and it was the same below the people's calves. It was not a problem for 5 or 6 people to stand on the raft, but once there were more people, there would be no need for the water to flush them in. The 55 shipwrights were already very hard, but Chow Harue and the other two still felt that it was too slow. The 3 of them were actually a little regretful now. Firstly, they regretted coming back. Secondly, they felt that when they were looking for a place just now, it would be safer now if they didn't look for that valley. That valley was good for hiding from the wind, but that place was really too low. All the water from other places gathered there. As a result, they could only continue to go to higher places. When they went up, the wind blew so hard that they could not stand. They bent their legs, bent their waists, and lowered their heads, barely able to withstand the wind. When the wind passed, they began to get busy. Seeing that the water from other places was gradually rising, if they did not hurry up and set up the wooden rafts, they would all die here. The person in charge of the ship also helped. After setting up 10 wooden rafts, everyone felt a little more relaxed. However, Chow Harue and the other two were still a little worried, so they asked people to continue. They thought of the land connected by wooden rafts during the last flood, and felt that it was very useful. This time, they also wanted to try it. Master Chow, do you think these wooden rafts are enough? Now I know how strong the wind is. It is a pity that we did not prepare enough. If I had known, I would have brought some wood from the ship. If those wood were dry, we would not be afraid of being soaked. Master Chow, do you know where to go next? Chapter 475. Chow Harue also didn't know what to do. Although the 3 of them had stayed here for a few years, they had never encountered such a strong wind. Today's wind seemed to be completely different from before. Just as he was thinking about where to go, he heard the person in charge's question. After pondering for a while, after thinking for a while, he said, "Find a higher mountain. This place won't do. I estimate that we will be submerged in less than an hour. We must prepare food. Otherwise, we will starve to death before we drown." After saying this, Chow Harue still didn't feel safe. He also knew that the higher they stood, the more likely they would be struck by lightning in such weather. However, he really had no other choice. If they didn't go to higher places and just waited here, they would drown. There was another option that he didn't want. That was to not go to higher places and just stay in the water. It would be best if they went with the current. However, this method was very worrisome. First, the wind would make the waves bigger, and then the wooden raft would be overturned. Second, it was hard to control the speed. If they went with the current, they would enter the sea. The sea didn't look so calm now. If they wanted to control the speed, they would have to walk close to the shore. In other words, they would enter the Chin River. The problem was that the water in that place was very turbulent. Once they entered it, they would be finished. Not only him, but Fan Jianqi also thought the same. He was afraid that the wooden raft would hit something and break apart after entering the water. After all, when they came out, the boatman only brought some rope. Now that they didn't have any rope and there was no time to rivet, they could only use some branches as rope. Using branches to tie the wooden raft, it didn't take much to know what would happen if it hit something. Now, he could only hope that the branches were strong enough. At the same time, he hoped that the wind would pass quickly and the rain would stop quickly. Seeing that the person in charge had finished asking, he added, "Our wooden raft can't hold people for too long in the water. It will be easier to find a higher mountain. We don't have to worry about thunder. If we don't stand on top of the mountain, we can't see where there is a mountain. Do you remember when you came here? Do you know which mountain is the tallest in this area? Also, let's see if we have enough time. If we do, we'll continue to make more wooden rafts. When the time comes, we'll put 2 rafts together. That way, we'll be able to get out of the water more." This was a good idea. Many people would add a few more layers of wood at such a time. Since a layer of wood could easily enter the water, a few more layers would make it safer. However, time waited for no one. Another gust of wind blew over, bringing the waves directly to everyone's feet. When the wave passed, the water also receded. However, this situation made everyone realize that they could not hold on for much longer. This hill was really too short. The most worrisome thing was that this valley was where the water from other places gathered. The strongest wind had left here and went up along the river. However, the wind behind it was not weak either. It blew some trees up by the roots, which made Fan Jianqi and the others even more worried. Hurry up! Hurry up! Tie whatever you can. Don't worry about other things for now. Put the things we took from the boat on the wooden raft. When the time comes, we still need to find something to make an oar. Otherwise, if we continue to follow the current, we will be washed into the river. That place won't be as easy as it is now. Perhaps we will hit the shore and the wooden raft will break easily." Fan Jianqi rubbed his hands and said anxiously. The others also knew the situation. Fortunately, although they did not know how strong the wind was, it was very easy for them to make a wooden raft. They tied the rafts with branches one by one. Soon, 9 2-layer wooden rafts were made. There was no time to tie the remaining pieces of wood, so they could only choose to give up. Although Fan Jianqi and the others knew about the wind here, they did not know how to make a wooden raft and how to row. Seeing that there were still pieces of wood, they immediately ordered people to tie those pieces of wood casually to the raft. When the time came, it would be easy to replace them or hold a piece of wood to survive. 58 people, 9 double-decker wooden rafts. With Fan Jianqi and the other 2, the number of people on the wooden raft was less. There were only 4 people. 1 person was in charge of rowing, while the other 3 were enjoying themselves. As for the other 8, there were 2 for 7 people, and 6 for 6 people. Everyone was ready. Fan Jianqi and the other 2 even asked people to put some food that could be eaten directly on their side of the wooden raft. The wooden raft was also tied to the wooden raft. When Fan Jianqi asked people to tie it, the person in charge objected twice. He didn't want to do this. Just as he was about to explain, waves came one after another. Helpless, he could only tie it up and leave immediately. After a few more waves, the water level finally lifted these wooden rafts and they floated down with the current. In this place, they could not easily change their direction, otherwise, they would be hit by the waves. After Tsang Diao rushed out for a distance, the person in charge finally came to the side of Fan Jianqi and the others. The person in charge said to Fan Jianqi and the others, "3 sirs, should we throw away the tied wood? Otherwise, with these tails, it is not easy to change the direction of the raft, especially these tied pieces of wood. If they get caught on something, the boat will not be able to leave." Fan Jianqi did not know this kind of thing. He had never made a wooden raft himself, and did not understand the mystery of it. When he heard the person in charge, he wanted to agree, but then he felt that if he did so, he would lose his momentum as an official. He could only pretend to be very knowledgeable and said, "Don't worry, this kind of thing is very common in our local area. Look at the water, what can get caught on it? And even if it gets caught, what can you do? At most, you can break the branches of the tied pieces of wood. That's it. If you want to throw it away, throw away the pieces behind your own raft. We can't throw away ours. You have just arrived here, so you don't know so many things. After being scolded for a while, the person in charge didn't know what else to say. He agreed and didn't say anything else. He thought about whether or not they would hit the reefs if they went down the current. Right now, he still couldn't change the direction. He could only make small adjustments. Otherwise, if he used those crudely made oars to continuously push in one direction, the strength would be directly offset by the waves. Thinking about this, the person in charge arranged for people to untie the tied pieces of wood and pull them to the front. When they reached a place where the current was strong, they would first release these pieces of wood. If there were really any reefs or undercurrents in front, these pieces of wood would let them prepare in advance. Seeing that the person in charge had done so, Fan Jianqi and the other two thought for a while and decided to wait for a while. If they did it now, wouldn't they be following the example? After a while, when they looked at the current, they would say that the wood was doing this for them. Everyone at the seaside would know. In this way, they would have an excuse and could show their ability. With this thought in mind, the three people's wooden raft was a bit swayed by a wave. Even if the only person on the raft tried his best to stabilize the raft, it was not very effective. This scared the three people, especially the most timid one, Jiang Huanshi. When the wooden raft swayed, she quickly said, Quickly move the pieces of wood to the front. The shaking is already very strong. It's just the right time." The current in this position was very unstable. The wooden raft swayed back and forth without any pattern. It was all thanks to the paddle that the paddle used to offset the power of the wave. At this time, when he heard Jiang Huanshi's order, he said helplessly, "Sir, you have to do this." "Sirs, this matter can only be handled by the three of you. I have been controlling the wooden raft, otherwise, it could easily flip over." "What? You want us to move the pieces of wood to the back of the raft? We're not people who stay on the water all day long. We can't stand when the raft swings. You do it. We'll help you look after the paddle." Jiang Huanshi did not know how to row a boat, but she saw this person rowing there just now and felt that it was not difficult. For example, if the wave came from the left, then use the paddle to paddle back with all its strength. This way, with the help of the force, the paddle could press down on this side of the raft. Then, it could also push to the left and let the wave hit the paddle. With a push and pull, the paddle and the body, it could also offset the force. This looked very easy, so Jiang Huanshi said as she approached the person and reached out to take the paddle. The person had no other choice. He was really disgusted with the pieces of wood tied to the back because every time the wave came, he had to use more strength to offset the force. After passing the paddle to Jiang Huanshi, he immediately ran to the back. He did not plan to move the pieces of wood to the front. As long as he opened the place where they were tied and used the paddle to push, the pieces of wood would naturally rush to the front. He understood, but he overestimated Jiang Huanshi's ability. Jiang Huanshi held the paddle in his hand. When he saw a wave coming, he directly used the paddle to block the wave. It was easy for him to see, but in the process, he had to be very familiar with the force of the paddle. Jiang Huanshi did not know. When the paddle went over, the raft was not stable and he was directly knocked down by the force of the wave. When the wave hit, his body leaned to the other side. This time, the whole raft was directly turned over by the two forces. "Help, I don't know how to swim. Help me." At this time, Jiang Huanshi had no time to regret. He shouted with all his strength. After shouting twice, he disappeared. Chao Harue and Fan Jianqi were one day better than Jiang Huanshi. They could swim in calm water. At this time, after falling into the water and being hit by the wave, they immediately woke up after drinking 2 mouthfuls of water. They tried to swim to the overturned raft. As long as they could touch it, they would be fine. Jiang Huanshi's figure sank and floated up in the water. This was not the reason why he could move back and forth in the water, but the wave was like this. When the person who went to get the wood saw that someone fell and was far away, he could only grit his teeth and swim after them. This person's skill was really good. He used to work on the other side of the Yellow River, so he was very good at swimming. He could also catch carps in the Yellow River with his bare hands. It was because of this skill that he dared to swim over. When the other people on the wooden raft saw that it was overturned, they also jumped down to save the other two people. Zhang Huanshe did not know how much water he drank. He felt that his vision was getting darker and darker. When he was about to lose consciousness, he suddenly felt his body tighten. Then he could feel the light outside. Although he could feel it, it was still very uncomfortable, and he couldn't breathe. He exhaled, and when he wanted to inhale, he found that his throat was blocked by something. His hands and feet kept moving, and his face became redder and redder. Just as he was about to faint again, he was finally thrown onto the wooden raft. When his body hit the raft, he made a hiss sound. He felt really happy and finally breathed in a little bit. The person who rowed also came to the raft and picked up Zhang Huanshe, making him squat down. Needless to say, this squat was useful. Thank you so much. It's okay if that would doesn't understand. Zhang Huanshe walked back and forth in front of the gates of hell. He kept thanking the person who saved him. At the same time, he did not dare to touch the oar again. This time, he knew how powerful it was. This person did not say much. When he was swimming back, not only did he bring a person with him, he was also hit in the leg by the piece of wood he had just untied. His whole leg was still numb. Fortunately, he was good at swimming. When he was hit, he followed the force of the impact and turned a circle. Otherwise, this leg would have been gone. They took the oars thrown by the other people and continued to row forward. They did not have a destination. They only hoped to reach a place where the current was not so turbulent. Then, they could change direction and go somewhere else. The people on their side began to be careful, especially Zhang Huanshe. He had not fully recovered yet. He felt that his head was very painful. This was because he was choking on water. His ears were buzzing, and his eyes were sore and astringent. Because they met people who were good at swimming, Zhang Huanshe and the other two people had a big advantage. Otherwise, with their own abilities, they would have been dead. They were safe for the time being, but the same could not be said for other places. The typhoon moved up along the Qin River and began to expand. It was moving at an extremely fast speed. All the trees in its path were blown down. Some were even uprooted. They flew into the air and spun for a while before being flung away. The people here, if they had a cellar, they would hide in it. Although there was still water pouring down, it was enough to avoid the typhoon before it reached the surface. Those who did not have a cellar would try to run away. As long as it was not directly facing them, they would be able to run further away. As for those who saw the typhoon, they could only resign themselves to their fate. If there was a thick tree, they would use rope to tie themselves up. This was the experience they had left behind. As for houses, they must not stay in them. Otherwise, very few people would be able to survive. In this situation, the typhoon swept past very quickly. At the same time, wherever it passed, there would be no completed houses. Even if it only brushed past one side, it would be done for. In just 2 hours, the typhoon arrived at the provincial capital of Qinzhou. Some of the local people who were also good at reading the sky had already hidden away. They even told their neighbors. Those who believed in it would hide with them. Those who did not believe in it would continue to stay at home. There were also some who were even more foolish. They clearly believed that the typhoon would come, but they still unhurriedly packed up their things and prepared to take away everything that could be taken away. As a result, time was delayed. When the typhoon came, people like them would either be blown away by the strong wind or be crushed by some wind, rain, and houses. The number of casualties increased. Some people who were taken away by the wind were fine. The ground was soaked by the rain, so it was very soft. As long as they were not hit by anything, and did not encounter other things in the air, falling from a few meters was really not dangerous. In the provincial capital, the Tang governor of Ning did not know that a typhoon was coming. Although some people in his family had predicted that a strong wind would come here, he did not know the specific time. After all, this place was a little far from the sea. It was very difficult to read the sky, and there were many obstacles when it came to judgment. It was not as good as in Luzhou. When people in Qinzhou saw that the sky had changed, they could judge where the wind should come from. However, when the people in Qinzhou knew that the sky had changed, it was useless. This was because even if the wind did not come here and only blew in Luzhou and Lianzhou, the sky would still change. By the time the Tang governor of Ning knew that a strong wind was coming, it would be too late. He was not like Zhang Zhong, who dared to lead the whole province to the mountain when his judgment was not very accurate. He could not do it here. Even if he asked people to do so, many people would not listen to him. It's over. It's over. I wonder what's happening in other places? Where is this wind coming from? The Tang governor of Ning stood in the provincial capital and muttered to himself as he felt the strong wind bringing some soil and trees with it. After all, this was the place where his family lived. Naturally, the provincial capital had to be well repaired. In the face of such a strong wind, the provincial capital might be able to withstand it. Even if it could not withstand it, he was not afraid. There was a cellar in his house. What he was really worried about was the loss this time. They had just recovered a little, but now it came again. This time, it seemed to be more powerful than the last time. It was not easy to do business in the provincial capital. Without people, how could they do business? The people felt that they could not stay in this place anymore. They all ran away. Who could they sell things to? Looking at the sky outside, the Tang governor of Ning was also full of worry. At this time, the housekeeper came in. He ran very hurriedly, and his clothes were soaked. As soon as he came in, he shouted to the Tang governor of Ning, "Master, run quickly. Hide in the cellar. The wind is coming. It's coming from that side. It's going to be here soon." The Tang governor of Ning was shocked. He did not dare to hesitate and immediately ran outside with the housekeeper. The rest of the people in the family must have hidden. The two of them went to the middle of the courtyard. There was a cellar here. They opened the lid. The Tang governor of Ning jumped in first, and the housekeeper followed. But before they could close the lid, a gust of wind swept over. With a whoosh, the lid was directly blown away. Then, a lot of things fell from the sky in a mess. The steward's head took a hit. Fortunately, it was a mat, so he didn't faint. It only made a small cut on his head. This time, he didn't want to cover himself with a lid anymore. His body flashed away from the entrance of the cellar. "Master, the wind is really too strong. We're finished. The emperor may have made something to apologize to us. We can't expect to have a good time here." The housekeeper touched the place where he was just scratched and felt that there was something sticky on his hand. He knew that the lid was broken, but he could not see anything in the dark cellar. He could only brace himself and wait for the wind to pass. The Tang governor of Ning was also worried about this matter. He just thought about whether he could keep his position this time. Although he knew that he had nothing to do with this disaster, the imperial court must find someone to take care of it. As a parent official, if something happened to this land, people would say that he did not manage it well and that was why the heavens were angry. The more he thought about it, the more worried the Tang governor of Ning became. He felt that his stomach began to feel uncomfortable. He opened his mouth and vomited a mouthful of sour water. He asked the housekeeper, "Do you know where the wind came from? Is it related to Luzhou? Did they also suffer such a great calamity?" His series of questions revealed his feelings. He hoped that others would be like him. If everyone was in trouble, his responsibility would lessen. This was especially true for Luzhou. He was hoping that the wind would blow after Luzhou had made a trip around the city. At that time, he would have an excuse to take action. Luzhou's provincial governor Zhang Zhong was immoral. Since he came here, the heavens were angry and sent disasters here twice in a row. It was not wrong to say that. After all, the disaster happened after Zhang Zhong came. If Zhang Zhong did not come, nothing would happen this year. Last year and the year before, it was just that the rain was heavier. The Tang governor of Ning, who wanted to shift the responsibility to Zhang Zhong, was desperate and asked the housekeeper to tell him. However, The housekeeper did not know about this. He had just come back from outside. Fortunately, it was dark here, so he could not see his expression. The housekeeper was showing a dissatisfied look at this time. He knew that if he said that he did not know, the master would not be happy. Chapter 476. When Tang, governor of Ning, heard this, he was very happy, even though he knew that the steward was not clear about it. He just wanted someone to say so. It did not matter whether it was true or not in the end. After comforting himself, Tang, governor of Ning, stood in the water and said to the steward, "This time, I don't believe that Zhong can escape. Let's see if he can make a wooden raft formation again. With such a strong wind, any wooden raft will be useless." "Master, you're right. Zhong is really finished this time. I don't think there are many people left in his place. It's a pity that because of his arrival, the people there have been suffering one disaster after another. The most infuriating thing is that not only did Zhong bring disaster to his own place, but he also brought disaster to the surrounding places. Master, when the wind blows over, you must write a memorial to impeach Zhong. Just say that Zhong is an unlucky person who harmed people. Also, it must be because of the Zhong family's business that made the heavens so angry." The steward knew what the master was thinking. Since the master had such thoughts, he would just go along with it. After all, he could not let Zhong go. Otherwise, if he let Zhong go, who would take the blame? Unless the imperial court said that they would let the officials here go first. Governor Ning nodded happily, but then he asked, "Then what do you think we should do if Zhong's side didn't lose much? Do you want to send someone to check it out first? That will delay time. I'm afraid that Zhong will make the first move and delay this. His memorial has been sent to the imperial court first. If I send it there, it won't be of much use." "Master, don't worry. I think Lu Zhou won't be able to escape. Even if they didn't suffer many losses, they will definitely suffer some losses, right? In particular, there was a pier there. No matter how the wind blew, as long as it followed the river, it would definitely blow the pier away. Master, first write the memorial and send it over. Zhong will not care about him. Just say that he is an inauspicious official. When the time comes, no matter how he justifies himself, it will make people think more. After all, this is a disaster that happened after he came." The housekeeper continued to persuade him. He knew that even if he didn't, the result would still be the same. However, the master liked to listen to other people's advice. When Mr. Tang, Governor Ning, heard what the butler said, he made up his mind. "All right, that's what we'll do. Do you have any other ideas?" "Master, that's enough. There's no other way. But the people here are in trouble. It'll take a few months for the imperial court to give us the things. Master, we have to do disaster relief first. We can't just watch the people run elsewhere. Last time, some people ran to Lu Zhou. If we don't help them this time, Zhong will still do what he did before. He will take care of everything and use his family's money. Then, all the people here will run to Lu Zhou. Without people, who will be able to farm?" The butler had learned his lesson this time. Last time, it was actually his idea to not care about the people. To be precise, it was this idea that came from his mouth. As for who came up with the idea, it was not important. If things were to continue like this, it would save the family a lot of trouble, but the local people would be very disappointed. They would run to Lu Zhou even if they had to cross the mountains. When Mr. Tang, Governor Ning, heard about disaster relief, he frowned. He knew how Zhong did it. He took out money from his family first and then bought things for the people. Then, when the people had nothing to do, they would work for him. Some of them would repair Lu Zhou, while the others would help the chambers of commerce over there to collect things. In this way, they would be taking advantage of the people. After all, in the process, the people would only get a part of their wages. Those good things like fish, armor, tortoise shells, and so on would all go into the Zhong family's pockets. Needless to say, this method was really good. At least, none of the people there were dissatisfied with it. But it was different here. He couldn't take out so much money to organize the chambers of commerce. At the same time, there were already other chambers of commerce here, and they had a good relationship with each other. If he took out money to help the people deal with the aftermath of the disaster, wouldn't it benefit the other chambers of commerce? Thinking of this, Mr. Tang, Governor Ning told the butler about the problem he had just considered and asked him to help him come up with ideas. The butler pondered for a while and said, "Master, if we really have to fork out the money, it's indeed a bit of a loss. How about this? Since other people have their own chambers of commerce, let's find them together. Everyone will contribute some money, and when there are benefits, we'll share it." No, how can it be that simple? The people of the chambers of commerce here are usually so honest, but if we really ask them to fork out some money, they will never do it. Moreover, even if some people are willing to fork out some money, some people won't. Of course, the people who fork out the money will be unhappy. However, we can't ask everyone to fork out the money. For example, if we ask the people who are in the grain business now to fork out some grain, they will be very willing. But if we ask the people from the restaurants to fork out some food, they won't do it. The people who are in the grain business can wait until the situation here is better and ask the people to help them grow more grain, but what about the restaurants? Ask the people to go there to eat more? Mr. Tang, Governor Ning felt that this matter was not easy to handle. Some people had a reason to fork out the money, while others didn't. It was hard to understand the benefits between them. With this thought in mind, both of them fell into deep thought. The wind was still raging outside. At this time, the people didn't know what to do. The people around them were all running, and there were all kinds of things flying in the sky. The rain kept falling, and all kinds of screams filled the air. There was also the sound of the wind and the sound of things breaking. The provincial governor hid, and the officials in the county naturally didn't follow him. They couldn't care too much. If the sky fell, there would be someone tall to hold it up. When the strong wind blew past, there would be a small wind blowing over. The commoners couldn't find a good place to hide. Some people were pinned down, while others ran to a safe place. It wasn't that those who ran to a safe place didn't want to help those who were pinned down, but the wind didn't stop. In the nearest county, the people in the yamen were basically all gone, especially the county magistrate. This Xinjiang county magistrate also took his family to hide in a cellar. This cellar wasn't specially built to guard against the typhoon, but to store some goods. The Ning family had a lot of power here, so a lot of things had to be taken out or stored together under their orders. This way, they could take advantage of the fluctuating prices to make money. The Xinjiang county magistrate was called Wang Qing. He was a very obedient county magistrate. At this time, he was a bit glad that he had a cellar in his house. Otherwise, there would be no place to hide. The whole family hid in the cellar, waiting for the wind to blow over. There was a young daughter in this family. She was different from the daughters of other officials. This girl was very kind since she was young. Unfortunately, she couldn't find another kind person in her family. This year, she was 16 years old and was about to get married. She didn't expect to suddenly encounter such a thing. Hearing the movement in the cellar, she said to her father, "Father, what should we do with the people outside? There's still room in the cellar. It can fit 100 people. Why don't we let people shout outside and find some people who don't have a place to hide?" Wang Qing looked at his daughter and shook his head. He sighed and said, It's not that I don't want to help those people, but if I really send people out to shout, what if 150 people come out? This cellar won't be able to fit all of them. At that time, who can't come in? Then we can throw out the goods that have been here for more than a month. That way, there will be room. Are people not more valuable than goods? Fei knew that her father was just being perfunctory, but she still wanted to help those people. Wang Qing said with a straight face, "If we throw the goods out, they will be blown away by the wind. At that time, what will our family eat?" This matter is related to Tang, governor of Ning. If we wait for the wind to blow over, Tang, governor of Ning will ask us to take out the goods. If we can't do that, do you think we will have a good life in the future? Fei, don't think about this. This is life. Those people who are lucky can survive, and those who are not can't blame others. Don't worry, after this disaster, as long as the wind blows over and Tang, Governor of Ning, says something, I will immediately go out and start the disaster relief. Why wait until it's too late? Why do you want to save people when most of them are dead? We can save them now. If it was Lu Zhou's provincial governor Zhang Zhong, I believe that even if he threw out everything, he would still let the people hide in the cellar. Moreover, he would immediately send people to organize the rescue. Moreover, when encountering such a situation, he would definitely take precautions in advance. He wouldn't wait for the disaster to come and think of a solution. Father, I beg you, there are so many people. Fei was really angry this time, but there was nothing she could do. She did not dare to disobey her father, but now she knew that there was such a provincial governor who cared about the people. What do you know? He is him, and I am me. What good is it for him to take precautions? Will the imperial court reward him? Fei, let me tell you today, if you want to get political credits, you can't take precautions. You have to wait for the disaster to come and save people with other people. You know that when the time comes, you will be credited for the disaster relief. Wang Qing was very clear about this. However, after Fei heard it, she was stunned. She never knew that things would be like this. Looking at her father, she felt that he was a little strange. When Wang Qing saw that his daughter no longer wanted him to go out and save people, he continued, Moreover, there is a saying in this disaster relief. It's not that you can save people. Look at me, if I go out and save people now, won't I save more people than other places? Other places are unwilling to do so. Moreover, Tang, governor of Ning, should also be in hiding. Tang, governor of Ning, is in hiding, and I go and save people. Do you know what will happen when the time comes? Others didn't save people because it was too difficult, so they couldn't save people. However, when they can save people, they will put in a lot of effort. However, I saved people first, which means that I have the ability to save people. So, why don't I save more people? This is considered a failure in saving people. Do you hear me? As long as I save people, I will be considered a failure in saving people. As for those who can't be saved, they have encountered difficulties and overcome them later. This time, Wang Qing was telling the truth. He was indeed in a difficult position. Things were just as he said. Others were in hiding, but he had to rush out and save people. That would incur public anger. After flying for a while, she sat down in the water in the cellar and stared blankly at the dark place. She suddenly felt that the darkness in the cellar was not as dark as the darkness in human nature. She muttered, If this happened to Governor Lu Zhou, if he was in my father's position, what would he do? Zhang Xiaobao already knew that the typhoon would not hit here anymore. The winged cavalry that he sent out came back to report the situation at Qinzhou Bay and Qinjiang. Report, the gale has passed. It is very strong. Not only is there a lot of water upstream, but there are also some houses and corpses. I have arranged for people to wait there for rescue. Little young master, what should we do next? After the messenger finished his report, he waited for the next order. At this moment, Wang Wan said, I don't know if they are prepared or not. Before the gale came, they had already sent out fast horses to the surrounding provinces to report. I hope that the Ning family will be able to take precautions in advance for their family. Zhang Xiaobao had the same thoughts. That's right. After all, that place is their foundation. Just like Sanshui County, if someone from my family is an official there, they will naturally have to think about their own foundation. Even if they don't help outsiders, they will have to make arrangements for their own family. I'm just afraid that they are stupid enough to avoid the gale. Have the ships returned? Get people to enter Qinjiang as quickly as possible and go against the current. See if there are any civilians who need the supplies. If there are, give them some. Especially the medicine. Even if they are prepared, there will still be people who will be injured. Let's hope that the injuries will be small. The messenger immediately got on his horse to make arrangements for the ships. Zhang Xiaobao called over the 56 people from his family and the 50 bodyguards from the prince's mansion. He said to them, Now, I will give you a mission. That is to go to Qinzhou to participate in the rescue. You have to ride fast in the areas where you can. If there is no road, then force your way through the mountains. I think that with such a strong gale, the civilians will be in chaos for a while. You have to go there to save as many people as you can. The other reason is to tell them that the rescue supplies will be there soon. Tell them not to worry and to persevere. At this point, Zhang Xiaobao took a deep breath and said, "Now, I just want to know if you can complete the mission. Remember, force your way through. We promise to complete the mission." The 56 people shouted in unison. The bodyguards from the prince's mansion were not trained to do this. They waited for the others to finish shouting before they shouted again. Zhang Xiaobao waved his hand and prepared a big backpack for each of them. There was some medicine and hardtack in the backpack. The horses were also prepared. The 106 people jumped on the horses. 2 more people went to bring the horses back. The 106 people rushed out in the rain. "I have done what I should do. I don't care about the other side. We have to continue with our lives here. Let's see how their wooden houses are doing." They actually picked a lot of mushrooms before the rain stopped. "We will eat mushrooms for dinner." Zhang Xiaobao couldn't always care about other people's matters. When he saw them leave, he could do this much. Wang Wan also knew that it was useless to keep watching others. When the time came, the situation would be the same. She just had to do her best. The most elite people had been sent out, so she couldn't let the civilians go, right? Ignoring the fact that these civilians couldn't be of any help, the time it took to get there would be enough for the other side. At this moment, Li Sun still didn't know that Zhang Xiaobao had already arranged for a rescue team. They were a little far away, but it was the closest state. The other states probably wouldn't send people to rescue them. Li Sun was currently under a waterfall. He looked at the water flowing down and instructed people to build a pavilion. Originally, they had agreed to build some wooden houses, but Li Sun felt that this place was not bad. He wanted to build more good houses so that it would be easy to come here to play in the future. He also wanted to build more pavilions and corridors because he heard people say that rainbows could easily appear at this waterfall. Li Sun knew the principle behind rainbows. It was the refraction of water vapor. When there was sun, he could turn his back to the sun and use his mouth to spray water to create rainbows. However, rainbows were too small and weren't as big as this waterfall. Looking at such a wide waterfall, the rainbows would definitely be very beautiful. It might even be a scene of rainbows within rainbows. When Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan came over, Li Sun was asking others where rainbows usually appeared. This way, he could arrange for the pavilions to be built there. Otherwise, it wouldn't be good if the pavilions blocked the scenery. "Xiaobao, over here. There's a rainbow here. I heard people say it's very beautiful. I didn't see it the last time I was here." Li Sun's eyes were sharp. While he was talking to others, he saw Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan coming over. He waved his hand and called out to them. When the two of them came closer, Li Sun suddenly noticed that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's expressions were slightly unsightly. He asked with concern, "What's wrong with the two of you? Are you cold?" "It's nothing. The wind blew to Qin province. I wonder how the preparations there are. If they're not ready, I really hope the wind won't blow in that direction. They'll just circle around Luzhou and sweep the houses and the land twice before leaving. At most, they'll just lose some money." Zhang Xiaobao did not have any intention of gloating. Although Qin province and Luzhou were not on good terms, that was the government's business. It had nothing to do with the commoners. Even if they had something to do with it, they could not just let them die. Even if they were fighting, they had to save them when they were in danger. Li Sun's expression changed slightly. He did not want the commoners to suffer any losses. After thinking for a moment, he said, "They should be ready. Didn't they send us a message in advance? Why don't we send some people and things over to take a look?" "They've already sent them out. It's too late even if we send more people over. This is the reason why I asked for your 50 guards. All right, let's not think about it anymore. Tell me what we're going to do here." Zhang Xiaobao tried his best not to think about other places. However, he was always thinking about it. He did not have the energy to talk about it. Li Sun suddenly lost interest. He looked at the waterfall and said to the people who were preparing to work, "You guys can fix it as you see fit. You can do whatever you want. Remember, there should be a pavilion above the waterfall so that the water from the waterfall can form a mist around the pavilion. That's all." After that, Li Sun looked at Zhang Xiaobao and asked, "Did you send a lot of things? How many people can use them?" "Not many, but there are some medicinal herbs." "It's hard to say how many people can use them. It depends on how many people are injured and how badly they are injured. There are also some doctors on the ship. The rest are some blankets and other things. They are all good blankets. I'm going to sell them for money. There's also a little food. It's not much. It's estimated that it's enough for 2,000 people to eat 3 meals of porridge. My other ships can't get through." Zhang Xiaobao listed the things on his ship one by one. There were not many things, but he had no choice. It was obvious how strong the current was in that place. Besides his family's flagship, no other ships could get through unless they pulled a cable. When Li Sun heard these few things, he became worried. He said to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, "What about my ship?" "My ship is the same. Quickly, let's organize the things here. When the time comes, we'll transport them to the other side and wait for them to be loaded. I'll transfer my ship over. I'm really worried that the people over there won't be able to prepare well." As he spoke, Li Sun pulled Zhang Xiaobao and ran back. He didn't care about the things here anymore. As long as they could transport the things over, it was fine. Even if they didn't need them when they got there, he would be happy. He would rather those things go over there and be told that they were prepared and didn't need them. The thing he was most afraid of was that when the things arrived, they suddenly found that they weren't enough. That would be troublesome. Li Sun thought about this matter as he ran back. After thinking for a while, he suddenly said, "I've decided. If the things on these 2 ships aren't enough, we'll continue to transport them. We'll transport as much as we can. Then we'll ask about the situation over there. If they didn't make any preparations and didn't rescue them, then I'll be rude. Then don't blame me for being impolite. So what if you're the provincial governor? I'll impeach him. I definitely won't let him have an easy time. Xiaobao, let's make a deal. When the time comes, I'll be in charge of the official matters. Isn't the Ning family a family? Don't they have all kinds of industries? You must let your family help deal with these industries, okay? Promise me." Li Sun was really angry. He was determined to be a good marquis. He definitely wouldn't allow a situation like this to happen. He had already warned them, but the result was that they weren't prepared. Chapter 477. The storm raged for a few days. When the weather finally cleared up at Lu Zhou's place, the locals heaved sighs of relief. The strong wind did not destroy their houses, and the heavy rain did not cause a flood. The water flowed into the 2 rivers and some smaller tributaries that they dug and flowed into the sea. There was still a long time before the construction of the wooden houses on the mountain was completed. Li Sun left some of his men to continue working in the mountain and paid them more. The others began to pack up and prepare to return. They wanted to see which areas had their seedlings washed away so that they could replant them as soon as possible. Also, they had to continue with their fishing. The people knew that even if they did not hide in the mountain, they would not be in any danger. However, no one complained that the kind official should not have done this. After all, seeing the results and taking precautions were 2 different matters. Moreover, they had done some work in the mountain, and they did not lack wages. News from Qin province had not arrived yet. Perhaps, the people who were in a hurry had just arrived, or perhaps, they had not. Qin province was far away, and the main problem was the road. If they had cooperated with Lu Zhou to build the road, it would not have taken them much time to travel there on horseback. For the past few days, Li Sun had been writing letters every day. After he finished writing them, he would leave them aside and wait for news from Qin province. He would choose a letter and send it to the capital depending on the situation. He also urged Zhang Xiaobao to come up with a few plans with his family members. Just like this letter, they would adopt the appropriate measures according to the situation. Zhang Xiaobao did not have the time to think about this. He casually thought of a few countermeasures, but they did not add up to more than 1,000 words. He sent them to Li Sun as a plan. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had other matters to attend to. Although they had profited from their trip to Luzhou, they had to make a comparison. If Zhang Xiaobao did not restrain himself, the money he invested in Luzhou would have been several times more than what he had now. Since he did not do that, he should at least make up for it in other ways. The two men who had been busy with Luzhou's affairs finally had time to spare. They were preparing to trade with Lei Province Peninsula and Hainan Island. Both of them felt that since there was a disaster here, there should be a disaster there as well. Hence, they wanted to send some food over to take a look. At the same time, they also brought some specialties from the capital. The Liezhou Peninsula was not a place to be anxious about. All the ships had to pass through there and go through the Qiongzhou Strait. The fleet did not stop at these two places. Instead, they went to Hainan Island first. That was a really good place to grow some tropical plants. We need to find a reliable translator first. What if it's difficult to communicate with the ethnic minorities over there? What are their customs? Do I have to wear earrings? What gift should I give her? Zhang Xiaobao was worried. He was afraid that the people he sent would accidentally anger the other party. He thought about how he would have to transplant a large number of species from other places on the island in the future and build a dock. He had to build a good relationship with the other party. Wang Wan, on the other hand, was not worried about the matter of a translator. She said, "There are already people living there. We just need to find a translator among them. The languages there are more diverse. It's just like the people living in the mountains here. There's no need to give them gold or silver. We can't afford earrings, but they don't lack pearls. Then, we should give them some gifts. What else can we give them? Hawksbill? I think there are more of them than here, right? Give them a few sets of sofas and other furniture? I wonder if they're willing to use them and give them some handicrafts? I have a feeling that their craftsmanship is better than ours. It's said that Huang Dao Granny learned how to weave from there." Zhang Xiaobao rested his chin on his hand and thought hard. When Wang Wan heard Zhang Xiaobao mention weaving, her eyes lit up. She suggested, "Since they like to weave and use cotton wool, we should give them more bouncy cotton. I look forward to seeing them make more beautiful things with cotton. I believe they'll like it. Then we'll give them cotton. If they think it's good, we'll teach them how to grow cotton and watermelons." Zhang Xiaobao couldn't think of anything else. Only giving them something that they didn't have could make them happy. Since they were skilled and could weave good things, they should be able to accept things like cotton. Wang Wan had a different idea when she heard Zhang Xiaobao's plan. "Xiaobao, we can just let them help us weave the cotton. Why do we have to teach them how to grow it? We have the resources here. When the time comes, we can just exchange the things they make for cotton. If they know how to grow it, will they still be able to exchange with us?" How could Zhang Xiaobao not know about this? At first, he thought so too. However, considering that the Li tribe over there, now called the Li tribe, had their own culture and traditions, their craftsmanship was not so easy to learn. Other than them, others might not be able to master it so well. If they sent the cotton to them, they would make good things. As long as they exchanged, it would definitely become a commodity. Other people also grew cotton now. When they saw this kind of thing, how could they not know where it came from? It was precisely because of this that Zhang Xiaobao decided to teach the Li tribe how to grow cotton. He also provided seeds and a flower weaving machine. He explained to Wang Wan, "Now the tribute over there is cloth woven from cotton. It's very beautiful. Once a new thing is made with cotton, others will know it's produced locally. Then, would the other people who grew cotton wait for us to exchange with Hainan? If it were you, wouldn't you interfere? Since we can't keep a secret and don't have the ability to keep a secret, it's better to be generous and let them feel our sincerity. As long as the cotton matter is successful, We can collect specialties from various places in the future and bring them to Hainan Island for the locals to choose from. That's right. Then, we'll put our brand on everything we send over. Let them remember this brand and let them understand the benefits of cooperating with us. We must also let them know that we are not worse than them in some aspects. Don't they have a rattan weaving skill? After a while, we'll find someone from the inner courtyard to start training. Wang Wan also knew that this skill could not be monopolized, so she could only give in. She waved her small hand and began to arrange. What do we have that can surpass them in weaving? Find craftsmen from other places? How long will it take to learn? Zhang Xiaobao felt that there was no technology that could be used. Why not? The heart is like a double net. There are thousands of knots in it. Let them tie China knots. I'm not very good at it, but I know a few knots. Wang Wan stuck out her chest and said proudly, Aren't you just a skilled worker? I don't want to learn even if you let me. Let's not talk about this anymore. Prepare to go down the mountain. Zhang Xiaobao waved his hand indifferently and turned to leave. If you don't know, just say you don't know. Why are you looking for excuses? Escape. Wang Wan shook her head happily and also left. The rain converges into a river, into the sea becomes a wave, the waterfall soars into the mist, the echo is a mountain song. When the wind comes, there are many things to worry about. Perhaps the hometown is still happy, but there are thousands of knots. Most of the people began to go down the mountain and immerse themselves in their new jobs. Some of the people who came from Qin province were in a bad mood. Although they could not see their hometown, they would still look there from time to time. There were places where they used to live and relatives. The wind did not wreak havoc in Luzhou and went to the other side. They wondered how their relatives and neighbors were doing. If the officials there could do half of what Luzhou did, they might be able to avoid the wind. Perhaps, their relatives there were worried about them as well. They thought that the wind came from this side first. They really wanted to go and tell them that everything was fine here. Even if the wind came, it would not hurt them, let alone the wind. Some of the people had such thoughts as they followed the team down the mountain. When the time came, they would go back to their own homes. After that, they would have to replenish the seedlings. Li Sun did not stay on the mountain to supervise the work. Most of the work here had been arranged. There were people who worked, and there were also guards who protected the people from being harmed by the wild beasts. Perhaps, the next time they came here, it would be a different scene. After they went down the mountain, the crowd gradually separated. In the end, there was only a group of more than 6,000 people left. They continued to move toward the seaside. These people were the people of Wulei County. A quarter of them were fishermen. They went home to take a look and tidied up before they went out to sea again to fish. Li Sun rode on his horse and approached Zhang Xiaobao, who was also riding alone. He asked curiously, Xiaobao, what's your family doing again? Nothing much. The roads in the province are not finished yet. Some parts of the docks are damaged as well. They have to be fixed first. Zhang Xiaobao yawned and replied. Last night, he was busy calculating how many things he could bring to Hainan Island to trade. He was sleepy. Li Sun obviously did not believe Zhang Xiaobao's words. If you're not doing anything, then what are you doing? Wang Wan took a few of your maids and mysteriously went into the carriage. Did she find something good again? No, she just went to play with the rope. It's a woman's business. Don't worry about it. Zhang Xiaobao casually said. Wei Wei put more strength into her legs, and the horse's speed increased by a few degrees. Li Sun still did not believe it. After thinking for a while, he still could not figure out what a few maids could do to earn money. He shook his head and urged his horse to catch up. He asked again, What do you think will happen in Qinzhou? Who knows? We have already prepared the food here. If the loss is really big, send it in your name. Wait, maybe in 10 days or half a month, the news will come from there. Zhang Xiaobao yawned again and again. He leaned on the horse's back and closed his eyes to rest. Li Sun also yawned and rubbed his eyes. He gave a look to the guard next to him. The guard quickly stuck to Zhang Xiaobao's side, afraid that he would fall asleep in a while. Li Sun came to the head guard and whispered, "Keep a close eye on them. What if there is a profitable business? You want to leave me behind? In your dreams." The guard nodded and passed on the task. The group traveled for more than 4 days in a row. It was almost 5 days before they returned. It was much slower than when they went. When they went, it was to save their lives. Wang Wan spent most of the time in the carriage. The maids were also the same. They were all in high spirits, but no matter how others asked, they did not reveal any information. Chapter 478. Li Sun took the time to ask again, but he still didn't get the answer he wanted. He could only put it aside for now and focus on Qinzhou. "Brother Fan, Brother Jiang, we're almost there. You have to hold on. Come, drink some water." On a mountain road leading to Ulei County, Chao Harue put the water bag to his mouth and took a sip, then passed it to Fan Jianqi and Jiang Huanshi. The three of them walked together, encouraging each other along the way. From time to time, they would grimace, as if every movement was making them feel uncomfortable. Jiang Huanshi took the water bag and drank a mouthful. She rubbed the bruises on her face and hissed. She turned her head to look at the road they had come from. Then she quickly turned her head back and said angrily, "What's wrong? When we get back, we'll get the men and kill them all." No, I won't kill them. I'll beat them up every day, just like how they beat me up." "Brother Jiang, don't think about it. Haven't we been bullied a lot these days? Just get used to it. There are even generals who are defeated and captured. Who told us to steal from other people first? Stealing from other people's houses, if we get caught, we'll beat them up too. When we get back, don't mention it. Get some money first and save those boatmen. We can't just leave them be, otherwise it would be hard to explain to the Tang governor of Ning. Luckily, we survived. We were beaten once, but didn't we eat something? It's too scary, just thinking about it makes me scared. We almost died in that wind. It's good that we're alive. Fan Jianqi was also injured and tried to persuade them. In fact, he knew that even if he didn't persuade them, they couldn't find anyone to take revenge. If they couldn't find anyone, would they borrow money from Zhang Zhong? If Zhang Zhong asked how they were injured, would they say that they stole from the mountain people and got beaten up? Not to mention whether he was guilty or not, this was too embarrassing. It was not shameful to be beaten up. After all, he could not beat the other party, so he should be more injured. What was shameful was that a dignified official of the imperial court had stolen something. If this was exposed, it would add a lot of joy to others in the future. At this time, Chao Harue took out some pancakes from the basket on his back. They were already wet from the rain, so there was no need for him to break them. He held them in his hand and rolled them into a ball. He ate them in small bites. Fortunately, there were still some green onions in the basket, so he could eat them as a side dish after taking a bite. While eating, he said, "It seems that the gale is heading towards Qinzhou. I wonder how Tang, governor of Ning, will deal with it. If the loss this time is too big, Tang, governor of Ning, will ask for help from Lu Zhou. That will be bad. If both sides are on good terms, the three of us will be easily bullied again. Those mountain people are not bad. After beating them up, they know that we are Lu Zhou's officials. They even gave us some food and water, otherwise, they would have starved to death. Soon, we will see people in half a day. I wonder how they are doing at home. Did Zhang Zhong hurt them? Did they get washed away by the water? Blown away by the wind?" The other two sighed at the same time. They were also worried about their family. The three of them had been gone for such a long time. If Zhang Zhong wanted to, he could just find a random reason to deal with the people at home. Just the money they owed, forcing them to pay up every day could drive them to death. Life at home must be very difficult, and the three of them were not comfortable. Fan Jianqi tightened his belt, looked at the sky and said, "Let's go quickly. The earlier we go back, the earlier we can help our family." Now I know why Provincial Governor Shi was so scared. He couldn't protect his family. Even though he raised 50 private soldiers, he could only compromise. Fan Jianqi felt the same way, but he had no way to regret it. If he didn't suppress the provincial governor, then they wouldn't be able to earn money. He hated Provincial Governor Shi now. If Provincial Governor Shi could be tougher, then the two sides could reach a compromise. But Provincial Governor Shi was so weak. He had been honest all this time. As a result, the four of them were spoiled. The newcomer, Zhang Zhong, also bullied them. Who knew that he was so powerful? With just a little move, the four of them were finished. If it were not for Provincial Governor Shi's weakness, how could the four of them be so careless? The other two also thought of this, but who could they blame? Who would have thought that the person who was supposed to be sent here like a prisoner would actually be so capable? His family was also rich. It was useless to try to rope him in as well. The little bit of money that they could earn was not even enough for him to take out casually. Thinking like this, and thinking of their family, the three of them began to speed up. When it rained, it was cold, humid, and stuffy. When the rain stopped, it was hot and stuffy. Although it was winter and the temperature here was not that hot, it was hot in the mountains. In addition, they walked fast and drank water from time to time, making them feel weak all over. When it was 5 in the afternoon, the three of them finally returned to the government. They went directly to their own home, which was farther from the government office, to take a look. They did not have time to deliver the letter to Zhang Zhong first. The three of them had just arrived at the place where the four families gathered. They saw the servants of the Lu family bustling in and out. All of them had happy expressions on their faces. The three of them were stunned. They did not understand what was going on with the Lu family. Fan Jianqi looked at the other two and saw that they were also confused. She whispered, "Did Lu Shaoqing think of a way to get rich? Return the money. Let's go and ask." The three of them came to the servants of the Lu family. Chao Harue was the one to ask, "What is going on with you? Where is your family's master?" The servants of the Lu family had been working and did not notice the three of them. When they saw them, they were shocked. Ghosts, where did these three things come from? His hair was disheveled, his face was dark and a little purple, and his clothes were tattered. Only his eyes looked normal. One of the servants looked carefully and recognized Chao Harue and the other two. Seeing the three of them like this, he wanted to laugh but did not dare. He could only say, "My family's master is doing something in the government office. There are many things waiting for him to do. We are making some salted vegetables." Doing something? Doing what? Chao Harue and the other two were even more confused. They knew how to make salted vegetables. Looking at the servants, they felt that it was better to go home and ask their family members. What if the servants of the Lu family were lying? After receiving this answer, the three of them jogged back to their respective homes, worried about the situation at home. In the end, when the three of them returned home and stood in the yard, they realized that there was no one there. There wasn't even a handyman to be seen. The three of them gathered together with worry in their hearts. They looked at each other and told each other about the situation at home. They thought that it was Zhang Zhong who did it. They gritted their teeth and did not wash their faces. At the same time, they walked towards the government office. They wanted to ask what was going on. On the way, they happened to meet the servants of the Lu family. Chapter 479. Brother Fan, Brother Jiang, what do you think Zhang Zhong wants? Chao Harue asked the other two when the three of them continued to walk to the government office. How could Fan Jianqi and Jiang Huanshi understand? Just now, the three of them heard the words of the Lu family's servant. They had no idea what Zhang Zhong was planning. The people from the three families were arranged to other places. They were not locked up. Instead, they were given some jobs that paid them more money. Even their wives had a better job. In fact, in the evening, they would talk to the local women who had nothing to do, so that they could know more about the outside world and understand what the life of a slightly richer family was like. Even the people of the Lu family had to do the same. The three of them did not understand. What was the purpose of doing so? Could it be that he still expected those ordinary people to live like the rich and powerful? Do you think Zhang Zhong wants our family to die of exhaustion? If you don't get enough sleep, you might get sick from being too tired for a few days. Jiang Huanshe could only guess like this before he figured out the situation. He did not think Zhang Zhong would be so kind. The more he thought about it, the more he was sure of his judgment. He began to drag his tired body and run again. The other two followed him anxiously. Lu Shaoqing and the other three families were indeed called to work by Zhang Zhong. Lu Shaoqing's family had other things to do, so they were not called to work. The other three families were called to work because their heads were not there. Zhang Zhong did not do anything to the three families. When he hid in the mountain, he took them with him. When he came back, he began to arrange jobs for them. In fact, the purpose was very simple. He wanted the servants of the Zhang family to learn from them. After all, Jiang Wang clan did not have time to teach the servants of the family. She put all her attention on the child in her belly. She wanted to take good care of it and give birth to a baby like Zhang Xiaobao or Wang Wan. In fact, the servants of the four families, in addition to doing some of the things they used to do, they just talked about how to do a good job, how to use the free time to rest, and what to do when the master of the family was angry. These things were different from everyone's mouth. After all, everyone had different understandings. Even if the servants of the Zhang family and Wang family did not need to worry about the master of the family being angry, it was very beneficial to listen. Since there were no special books to learn these things, listening to others was also a kind of accumulation of experience. The women who rested at night learned more about the outside world from the madams of the three families. Chao Harue and the other two felt that it was useless to do this, but Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan did not think so. The two of them felt that this place would develop sooner or later. Now that the basic construction was almost done, they would be able to complete the first stage of the construction work by next year and start to enter the second stage. Then, when the basic construction was done, it would naturally cultivate the unity and enthusiasm of the people, and they would yearn for the future more. As a result, some cultural aspects began to be unable to keep up. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan started a night school for the local people. Originally, the two of them planned to directly teach the people how to read, but later they found that these people did not want to learn how to read. They just wanted to find a place for their children to learn. This kind of thing was absolutely impossible. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan did not deny that in a family, if only one child was studying, and the other relatives were illiterate, this child's future achievements might be more promising than those of the children of the intellectuals. But this phenomenon was an exception. The two of them were not pursuing an exception, but a whole. If they wanted to arouse the enthusiasm of these people who were not willing to learn, they had to let them know more about the outside world. The wives of Chao Harue and the other two families were very good teachers. Sometimes, the mothers of the Jiang Wang clan and Wang Wan would also come over to teach for a while. Especially the Jiang Wang clan. Once she dressed up well and took out the knowledge that she had learned in the past to teach others, the temperament of a big family immediately fascinated the people who listened. From sitting, standing, and walking to how to treat people, there was still some etiquette. Even the wives of Chao Harue and the other two families did not know many of these things. As a result, the people who listened had a thought that one day, their own family would also be like this. To be able to live such a life, it would be a lie to say that they were not tempted. Although everyone was still an ordinary family now, with so many chambers of commerce established, almost every family could participate. Even if the profits were a little small, after all, they had a share. In the future, when the Chamber of Commerce developed, their money would also increase correspondingly. At that time, if others knew more and they knew less, wouldn't they become a joke? When the country is rich, wealth will come from afar. When the land is expanded, the people will stay. When the warehouse is full, they will know etiquette. When the food and clothing are sufficient, they will know honor and disgrace. Today, it was almost evening. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were also listening. They listened to some things about flowers. The people of the four families and the gardeners of the Zhang and Wang families all gathered together. They discussed how to plant better and how to match the flowers. In the end, the gardeners of the Zhang family usually learned a lot. After making a summary, they came up with a lecture program for those who were going to be gardeners in the future. The status of a gardener was not high. It was not even as high as a farmer. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan still insisted that different people learn to become gardeners. They also had Zhang Zhong post a notice. In the future, such gardeners would be able to get an extra sum of money every month. It was not much, but the extra income was enough to move people's hearts. Looking at the gardeners on the temporarily built platform giving lectures, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan felt a sense of accomplishment. They sat below and looked back and forth at the other people. Xiaobao, what do you think will happen in 3 to 5 years? Wang Wan asked Zhang Xiaobao happily. We can't wait for 3 to 5 years. We have to make something first. 2 years, preferably 1.5 years. By then, my father will leave. The gardeners must be trained as soon as possible. I don't care what others think of gardeners, but the status of the gardeners here must be raised. Zhang Xiaobao looked at the people on the platform and replied to Wang Wan. Then find more gardeners from outside. I don't know why these gardeners can't get a good status. The more basic it is, the more beneficial it is for the development of society. The current society is actually a kind of abnormal development. It has missed out on the important aspects of merchants and gardeners. Let's use a year to form the esoteric debate, and half a year later, let's get everyone to acknowledge these craftsmen. A year and a half should be enough. For the first step, we don't need to take too big of a step. We need to leave behind a foundation. That way, we can continue on this path after we leave. Wang Wan understood Zhang Xiaobao's thoughts. He wanted to build a certain achievement in the 2 years Zhang Zhong was in office. This way, Zhang Zhong's ability would be valued by the imperial court. It would be easier to arrange things in the future. Another point was that Zhang Xiaobao wanted to teach everyone here how to read and let them know more things. If the next provincial governor developed according to the plan, then nothing would happen. He would have the achievements he wanted and the money he wanted would not be lacking. However, if he dared to come here just to gain benefits, take advantage of others, embezzle, and so on like some officials, then he would become a mere figurehead and be unable to do anything. Especially when he met people who were literate and more knowledgeable, it would be impossible for him to deceive them. Of course, Wang Wan did not think that Zhang Xiaobao's plan, which took a few days to come up with, would be so simple. There must be a backup plan. As for what it was, Zhang Xiaobao did not say and Wang Wan was not in a hurry to ask. She would naturally understand when the time came. The gardener on the platform was still talking. At the beginning, he felt a little nervous and kept muttering in his heart, "Don't be afraid. The people sitting below don't know anything. Whatever I say is right. What I say is what the other gardeners thought out together. It doesn't matter even if it is a little wrong." With this thought in mind, when he began to talk, his voice trembled like Weiwei's. However, as he spoke, he was immersed in the content of the lecture and forgot to be afraid. He did not care about the people below him. The more he spoke, the smoother and better he spoke. Similarly, the people below him listened more attentively. Not bad. It seems that this gardener has already experienced the benefits of the lecture. Perhaps he doesn't know. At this time, he is very confident. He will slowly understand in the future. Zhang Xiaobao looked at the gardener on the platform and gave a very high evaluation. Then, he said, once such a person feels that he is better than others, he will be worried that he will be surpassed one day. Then, he will definitely work harder in this aspect. Good. I have decided. After these gardeners are able to teach well, I will let them summarize how to teach well and pass it on to more people. At that time, everyone will not be afraid of facing such a situation. That's right. Give them confidence and let the people of Luzhou have a higher level of thought than the people of other places. That way, the development will be faster. Wang Wan agreed with this idea. It was to create a cultural atmosphere in the region and lead the people of other places. However, when she said this, she was slightly worried. She said, "However, I'm worried that when the time comes, the people here will look down on the people of other places. They will always think that they are better than others. That's right, they are indeed better than others. What if they look down on others? This is especially true if they look humble on the surface, but they will look down on others to the core. If that's the case, it will be troublesome to communicate with other places. Can you think of a way to stop them from doing that? I don't want to see them looking down on the people of the same country when they are outside. Wang Wan's worries were not unfounded. Zhang Xiaobao knew this as well. However, Zhang Xiaobao did not have any solution to this problem. He shook his head and said, "It is this kind of contempt that allows this place to maintain its rapid development. I can't think of a solution. This is a common problem among humans. It is the same between countries and between regions. In fact, this is a good thing. For example, it is because of this kind of thinking that people are superior that they pity and help the weak. I think we can't put the blame on the people of the places that are developing well. If the people of the places that are not developing well can be self-improvement and strive to catch up, it may not be a bad thing. When I left the orphanage and went out to find a way to survive, many people looked down on me. These were not the adults. Some of the adults pitied me and gave me food to eat. Some despised me and stayed far away from me, afraid that I would steal their things. It was the same for children. Some people scolded me, and some people spat on me. I hated them at that time. However, when a child in a princess dress gave me the ice cream she just bought, I felt that the world was not all cold." Zhang Xiaobao looked at Wang Wan when he said this. Wang Wan listened very carefully. She liked to listen to Zhang Xiaobao talk about the past. She did not know much about it. When they were young, she and Zhang Xiaobao seemed to be from two different worlds. "Tell me more, Xiaobao. Tell me more. What happened in the future?" Wang Wan saw Zhang Xiaobao stop and urged him. "In the future, when I was 14, I met a child who fell into the water. His family was very rich. At that time I thought so. When he was playing on a bridge, he got out of a broken bridge fence and fell into the river. I happened to be practicing swimming in the river, so I saved him. When we reached the shore, there were many cars. They were all famous cars. They formed a motorcade. At that time, there was an old man who insisted on taking me to his house for dinner. I was scared by the motorcade and stood there stupidly. The child's father wrote me a check. I didn't know it was a check at that time. I thought he would give me money, but he handed me a piece of paper. Of course, I didn't take it. I thought he gave me too little. He gave me a piece of paper. Even if he gave me 100 renminbi, it would have been better. There were Chinese characters and numbers on the paper. I still remember that there was a 1 and 8 zeros behind the number. 1 million. I just glanced at it and didn't take it. Ha 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 ha. Wang Wan suddenly couldn't help laughing. Zhang Xiaobao also laughed. A 1 million cash check was less than 100 renminbi. "Xiaobao, I really admire you. You are not moved by 1 million RMB. You are amazing. Go on. It's so funny." Wang Wan continued laughing. In the end, the child's father was slapped by the old man. The old man said to the person, "Do you think someone saved my grandson because of your money? My grandson's life is only worth 1 million RMB. Only then did I know that it was worth 1 million RMB. I regretted it. I thought that if I got it, I would be able to go back to the orphanage and buy more things for the people there. But they took the money back. Naturally, I couldn't rob them again. So I went to the old man's house and had a good meal. The old man wanted to arrange something for me, like letting me go to school, but I refused. At that time, I talked to the old man and learned a lot of things. People have to be strong." Later, the old man gave me some money, and I sent it to the orphanage. I filled in a phone number and an ID number, and I really sent it to the orphanage. Don't you know what happened after that? The path I chose to be strong was that kind of path. After that, I had a few dealings with that family. One time, I was injured and hid in their house. After they found out about me, they didn't call the police and protected me. According to them, they didn't care what crime I committed. They only knew that I saved their family. After I left the country and went outside, I cooperated with them to build some roads in the countryside and build some schools. I paid a large part of the money and they paid a small part. This was also a backup plan for my life. Even if there were problems with the funds, they would still help me. Of course, there were other backup plans. The two of them were originally talking about how the improvement of the local culture would make the people in the area arrogant. But as they talked about Zhang Xiaobao's past. Everything was caused by the topic of self-improvement. As Wang Wan listened, she stopped laughing at Zhang Xiaobao's behavior of giving up 1,000,000 yuan for 100 yuan. She held Zhang Xiaobao's hand and said, "If everyone could be like you, then the country would be very strong. Unfortunately, you are destined to not leave a good reputation after giving so much." "What reputation? Anyway, I'm satisfied. Now that I'm here, can't I help the country become stronger? Let's go. It will be better in the future. Let's go and see how the bamboo pole dance is going." Zhang Xiaobao didn't care about so many things anymore. His heart was satisfied and he felt fulfilled. He quietly left the classroom with Wang Wan and went to the training place. The two of them walked for a while and stopped at the courtyard they were going to enter. There was the sound of bamboo hitting each other, mixed with the sound of pain. The two of them looked at each other and smiled. They walked in and saw some people hitting two bamboo poles back and forth. There was also someone beating a drum. The beat of the drum wasn't very stable. The women moving the bamboo poles didn't all move according to the beat of the drum. Some men were dodging the bamboo poles back and forth. It was even more difficult to dodge. In addition to the sound of pain, there was also the laughter of the women hitting the bamboo poles. It seems that I still have to practice. Otherwise, when I reach Hainan Island, I won't be able to blend in better with the local people. It'll be fine after a little pain. They are really ruthless. They hit with all their strength. Hee. Zhang Xiaobao looked at the scene in front of him and said to Wang Wan. Wang Wan also covered her mouth and laughed. She hadn't seen this kind of thing for a long time. She had seen it before when she was traveling. At that time, men and women were doing everything. But the real custom was that the women were hitting and the men were dancing. So they could only follow this. When those people saw the young master and young lady, they stopped one after another and gathered here to let the young master and young lady play together. Zhang Xiaobao shook his head vigorously. "No need. You can play. Remember to be serious. Don't lose to others. In that case, you will be laughed at. Hurry up and practice. Don't treat it as playing. Do it as a task. Come back tomorrow. If it's still like this, then I'm going to change people." Wang Wan stood beside Zhang Xiaobao and said. Now everyone didn't dare to be so casual. They ran over there and continued to practice. Normally, the drum beats were basically fixed. But Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan insisted that they practice more. Also, the people who were dancing were not allowed to only use one posture to dance. In that case, if the people here had new tricks, wouldn't it be troublesome? The two of them wanted to use cotton as a gift and as something to exchange in the future. They wanted to use things like the China not to impress the people of the Li tribe. In the end, they wanted to use this bamboo pole to blend in with that place. Let's go and see how they are doing with the China knot. Wang Wan saw that the people here were practicing again. She pulled Zhang Xiaobao to another place. At this time, Chao Harue and the other two also found their families. When they saw the appearance of their families, the three of them were stunned. They thought that these family members would be sallow and emaciated. After all, they sneaked out for such a long time and their family still owed money. In that case, their lives would be very difficult. But they didn't expect that when they saw the servants in their family, they would all be in good health. Needless to say, their family members were naturally in good health. Unless these servants had left home and found a way to make a living outside, it was impossible for the servants to be in good health and the master's family to be in bad health. The three of them were still in a sorry state. Fortunately, the servants of Chao Harue's family could still recognize their master. As soon as they saw the three of them, the servant of Chow Harue's family immediately ran over. He looked at the master and said, "Master, what happened to you? Quickly, the master is back. Quickly send someone in to tell the madam. Also, prepare delicious food and water for a bath. Also, bring out a set of clothes." After the servant asked, he immediately shouted towards the other side. As soon as he shouted, the other side became chaotic, but it quickly calmed down. The people in the family also came out to greet them. When they saw Chow Harue like this, Chow Harue's wife and concubines cried and pulled him into the house. This was a temporary home that was arranged for them. The place they lived in before was too far away, so they couldn't live in it. "How are you doing?" Chow Harue pulled his wife and asked. "Good, good. We don't lack food or clothes, but we don't have much spare money. We used all the money we earned to pay off the debt." "Master, what happened to you? Did Tang, governor of Ning, not take care of you?" Chow Harue's wife said with distress. The other concubines were only anxious at the side, but they didn't dare to come over. After all, the first madam was there. "It's okay. Everything will be better in the future. Zhong didn't make things difficult for you?" After Chow Harue entered the courtyard of his home, he found that there was no part of his body that didn't feel uncomfortable. His whole body and mind relaxed. Only then did he feel that it wasn't easy. Chapter 480. Chow Harue didn't expect it to be like this. He knew how difficult it was to pay back the money owed. Just the interest would compound every month, making it impossible for people to pay it back. But the madam actually said that it was possible to pay it back. How much salary would it take? What did this family do? Thinking of this, Chow Harue's face darkened. He looked at his wife and the concubines, asking, "Did Zhong send you to the brothels? Otherwise, where would he get so much money?" These words startled everyone. The first madam hurriedly said, "Master, how can there be such a place? Everyone here is busy working. Even if we create a brothel, no one will go there." "Master, it's not like that. We're giving lessons to others. In fact, we're just talking about things that they don't know. That's why we give them a lot of money. It's the same for the people at home. The gardener earned quite a bit of money as well. It's only with all this money added up that we can pay off the debt bit by bit." "Master, what good news did you bring back this time?" "Oh, so that's how it is. So you're telling other people things? Is there something wrong with the Zhang family's brains? How could they pay you for such a simple task? If I ask you directly, you won't dare to not tell me, right?" When Chow Harue heard this, he was relieved. Indeed, it was as the madam had said. Everyone in Luzhou was busy. They did not have time to go to the brothels. They did not even have such a place. But he just couldn't understand why Zhong would pay his family. If his family was bullied here, they had to endure it. He really couldn't figure it out. The first madam pulled Chow Harue to the bathing area and said, "Master, they said that the money given to us is not for us, but for the teachers. The more useful the things they teach others are, the more the teachers should earn. Otherwise, how can a teacher teach others without food?" Of course, they also emphasized that a teacher must have ethics. Otherwise, such a person is not fit to be a teacher. "I teach the most seriously, so I get paid the most. In fact, I also learned a lot. Zhong's wife, Jiang Wong Clan, is really amazing. She knows a lot of things that I don't know." "Well, as long as he didn't make things difficult for you, it's fine. It seems that Zhong is a gentleman. I was wrong. Life will be better in the future. This time, I brought a lot of money back. Besides the money I returned, there is still a part left. Since you have returned some, there is more left." Chow Harue felt that his face was a little hot. He always thought that Zhong would bully his family, but he didn't expect that Zhong didn't do that at all. Instead, he took care of them. Although they didn't have much spare money, after all, they had a good future. They didn't lack food and clothes. Because of this, His family could be so happy. Next, Chow Harue and First Madam went to take a bath together. While washing, they did some things. At the same time, Chow Harue told First Madam about what had happened this time, including how he had been beaten up in front of the yamen and what he had encountered when he came back. It was basically the same for the other two families. Being able to meet again, the family members were happy but also worried for the master. Especially when the wind was mentioned, everyone's eyes were wide open. Even though they clearly knew that the master was fine, they still felt waves of lingering fear. The news of the three people's return quickly spread to the Zhang family. Zhang Xiaobao sighed helplessly. He did want these people to suffer more, but when the three people came back, it meant that things had taken a turn for the better. Xiaobao, think of another way. Otherwise, when they recover, won't they have the energy to cause trouble again? Moreover, they were originally guilty. We can't let them go so easily. After Wang Wan knew about this matter, she asked Zhang Xiaobao to continue thinking of ways to deal with the three families. She didn't want to deal with the one surnamed Lu. After all, he surrendered at the critical moment. No matter what the reason was, at least when he was organizing the people, he did a very good job and did a very good job. Zhang Xiaobao rubbed his temples and said, I'm afraid this matter won't work. They were previously guilty, but there is no evidence. If we want to sentence them, we have to find evidence. The punishment for leaving the post won't be very good. Besides, they must have gotten money when they came back, so we can't threaten them with debt. Let's wait. We can only wait and see if they will still do what they did before. If they still don't change their mind, we can find a problem when the time comes. Even if we scheme against them now, they won't be fooled. I reckon that they will have some money left and won't do anything first to seek stability. In that case, my trick will be useless. If people aren't greedy, how can they be fooled? Then what about the crime? They left for so long, even if the sentence is not heavy, it will still be a crime. At the very least, their official positions will be removed. Wang Wan didn't want to let them go so easily. She wanted to do something about it. Zhang Xiaobao had also thought about this matter, but since the three of them had returned from Jinzhou, they would definitely pay a price in exchange for the safety of the three of them. The price wasn't important. What was important was the attitude of the three of them. Furthermore, there was no meaning to the three of them being punished for leaving their post. It wasn't as if they had done anything outrageous. Thinking of this, Zhang Xiaobao suggested, let's leave it at that for now. We can't let the three of them off too easily, but we also can't use that as an excuse. First, we need to make them return the money, then lock them up and beat them. This is for others to see, and then finally let them out. This matter will depend on what my father is thinking. If my father wants them to be caught, then let's beat them up and let them do the work. The more tired they are, the better. In any case, they know how to do it, so there's no need to worry about not being able to do it. If my father is prepared to kill them, then use that excuse to report to the higher-ups and let the imperial court decide. I don't think it will be of much use. Zhang Xiaobao had long thought about this matter. It wasn't that simple, especially for the people from the Ning family. As long as they found a reason, say that they were the ones who took the people away and sent them over to help with the disaster relief, say that they were the ones who sent the people over to help with the disaster relief, say that they were the ones who sent the people over to inform the Ning family. In the end, something happened to the people who were sent over, so they didn't inform the imperial court. At worst, the Ning family could just take the blame and casually send someone to punish them. The higher-ups clearly knew what was going on, but for the sake of the stability of the other side, they wouldn't punish the Ning family. Wang Wan pouted. She didn't have a good way to make the three of them suffer. Just like what Zhang Xiaobao said, if they didn't care about the money outside, they would be able to survive by themselves. As expected, Zhang Zhong received a letter from Tang governor of Ning. Just as Zhang Xiaobao had guessed, Tang governor of Ning took all the responsibility and hoped that Zhang Zhong could deal with this matter fairly. He also praised Zhang Zhong for what he had done and mentioned the contents of the memorial that he had submitted. After Zhang Zhong finished reading the letter, he knew that this wasn't going to be easy to deal with. Tang governor of Qinzhou had taken all the blame. If he really wanted to submit a memorial to the imperial court, he would have to bring along the governor of Qinzhou. When the time came, the Ning family would just have to mediate a little. Most importantly, doing this would only make the Ning family busy for a while. It wouldn't do anything to them, and it would only increase their hatred. This was something that Zhang Zhong didn't want to see happen. At the same time, if he really wrote a memorial to the imperial court, then the Ning family would be busy and they would have less time to spend on the local people. The people's lives would definitely not be good. Of course, Zhang Zhong didn't know that after Tang, governor of Ning, wrote a memorial praising him, he also wrote a memorial to push the blame onto him in order to shirk responsibility. The two memorials would be sent to the imperial court one after another. Moreover, the Ning family was also preparing to make a move against him, especially in the economic aspect. As expected, Chao Harue and the other two weren't harmed by Zhang Zhong. He just locked them up first and said that he would release them after questioning them. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Chao Harue and the other two returned the money. The three families immediately settled down. In addition, the people in their families were teachers for other people. Not only were their lives not bad, they were getting better and better. Zhang Xiaobao didn't have the energy to calculate, so he could only put it aside for the time being. He also looked at the three people's performance and put more energy into the basic culture here. Not only did he have to find teachers to teach the people here in the night school, but he also had to find schools. This required people, especially teachers. How could the people here be teachers? Just as Zhang Xiaobao was worrying about where to find teachers, Wang Wan said to him, "Xiaobao, I think we should be able to set up an academy here, especially in the Guangzhou prefecture. There are many people teaching there now. Why don't we?" "Yes, we can get people from there. Grandpa Bai is still here, so he can be the headmaster again. Let's go and find Grandpa Bai. What are we having for dinner?" Zhang Xiaobao was happy when he heard this. These days, he and Wang Wan didn't find time to learn from the old man. The old man also knew that they were busy, so he didn't disturb them. Therefore, they now remembered that there was a capable person here. The two came to the old man's yard, but they didn't find him. The servant said that he went to the nursing home. Old man Chong, who was the old housekeeper of Zhang Jioling's family, also went with him. The two turned and went to the nursing home. Although the water was not small, most of it was washed away by the river. There was nothing wrong with the houses here, so the people who lived here could continue to live. When the two came to the nursing home, Bai Go and old man Chong were playing billiards. This billiard ball was amazing. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan couldn't make such a good material to make the billiard ball. The case was easy to solve, as long as it was made of fine fur. As for the ball, they could only be extravagant. They used ivory, which was really not cheap. The cue was simple. They just needed to find wood to make it. With talc, an entertainment activity of billiards began. They had sent a few sets of talc to the capital by ship. When the time came, the emperor would have some. As for how the others would be divided, it was up to the emperor. The billiard balls were played loudly, but not many could go into the pocket. The two old men were actually playing billiards in a muddle-headed way. Although there was a rule that the balls were divided according to the pattern, the one who hit all the balls in the pattern on his side first would win. However, the two old men didn't know how to adjust the position of the balls. Anyway, they used the cue ball to hit the pattern that they were supposed to hit. The result was that they didn't hit the ball on their side and hit the opponent's ball. Although old man Chang's skill was not bad, this matter was different from playing billiards. When Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan came in, they saw old man Chong acting shamelessly. His cue only brushed the edge of the white ball. The ball didn't move much distance at all. He wanted to continue to hit another cue, but old man Pai didn't agree. He was there to reason with old man Chong. The other old men and old women were there to watch the fun, and no one stopped them. Anyway, it was a fun thing to do, and it was really noisy. Hey! Just now, someone clearly bumped into me from behind. That's why I accidentally hit the white ball. I didn't want to hit it at all. How can you say that I hit it? Old man Chong wanted to take the ball back to its original position, but Old Man Pai said that he didn't want to do anything, so he found an excuse. Don't talk nonsense. Just now, no one was so close behind you. How could he have touched you? Besides, even if he had touched you, your pole shouldn't have stretched out so far. You clearly used your own strength. Everyone, don't you think so? Old Man Pai didn't give in at all. He even looked for other people to prove it. These old men and old women were afraid that the situation wasn't chaotic enough, so they divided into two groups. One group said that someone touched it, and the other group said that no one touched it. It was impossible to figure it out at the moment. Old Man Pai, you have been an official for so many years. In the end, you even retired from the position of minister. Why can't I see that you were like an official? Isn't it just hitting it a little more? Can't you give in to me? Huh. I'll hit it again. Put the ball back. Old Man Chong wiped the cue stick with talc, and seemed to be admitting defeat. He insisted that Old Man Pai take the ball back. Since he said that, it was reasonable to say that Old Man Pai would give in, but who knew that Old Man Pai wouldn't budge at all? He held the ball in his hand and said, being an official and being an official are two different things. Nothing can be accomplished without rules. If I really put the ball back, then other people won't follow the rules in the future. No, it's my turn. Don't block there. Were you so unruly when you were a butler? At this time, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had already come close. Listening to the words of the two people, they felt that it was very interesting. It seemed that this old man was sometimes very calculative. Old Man Pai happened to see the two people, and immediately, as if he had found backup, said to the two of them, Xiaobao, Cuckoo, you two tell me. Should we let Old Man Chong hit it again? He could admit that he accidentally touched the ball just now, but he doesn't want to admit it now. You two tell me. If you want him to hit it again, then let him. If you don't let him hit it again, then I'll hit it. This matter definitely can't be let go so easily. This thing was figured out by the two of you, so your words are the most accurate. Old Man Chong also saw Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, and also said, that's right. What kind of rule is this? He accidentally touched it, so why can't he hit it again? It's all for fun, so why be so strict? You two tell me, what should we do? The game of billiards was made by Zhang Xiaobao. He played well, so he naturally knew the rules. However, he didn't expect Old Man Chong to not follow the rules. Now he was in a difficult position. Wang Wan also didn't know who to side with. The people around them looked at Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, wanting to see how the two of them would judge this matter. Xiaobao, say something. The rules of this game were written by you. Wang Wan didn't know what to do, so she let Zhang Xiaobao make the decision. Zhang Xiaobao smiled bitterly. It's true that the rules were written by me, but this matter is not within the rules. It's Grandpa Zhang who is not going to follow the rules. Zhang Xiaobao didn't directly say what should be done, but said to Wang Wan in a loud voice. When he said that, Old Man Chong couldn't hold it in anymore. Zhang Xiaobao's meaning was very clear. If they wanted to play according to the rules, then they had to find a way to do it. If they didn't follow the rules, then they could do whatever they wanted. Okay, I'll let you hit it. Old Man Chong finally couldn't hold it in anymore. He felt that it wasn't good for the two children, so he gave up the place. Old Man Bai, on the other hand, was very happy. He looked at Xiaobao and Wang Wan and said, that's right. Some things have to be done according to the rules. Otherwise, it would be easy for people to not follow the rules. This way, the people who do business would have no rules, and there would be more disputes. And if some officials don't follow the rules and do things according to the law, wouldn't the world be in chaos? Zhang Xiaobao didn't expect that Old Man Pai would start talking about his father after he helped him once. In fact, it was mainly because he didn't follow the rules sometimes. For example, killing people. This death sentence wasn't something that a provincial governor like him could casually pass on. He had to pass it on to the higher-ups. It seemed that a lot of people weren't satisfied with this matter. However, seeing that his father had just arrived and needed to establish his authority, and that those people did deserve to die, he turned a blind eye to it. He had to be careful in the future and not leave too many things that could be used against him. In fact, Zhang Xiaobao understood that Grandpa Bai was deliberately giving advice to his father. It was also to let him know that some things couldn't be done too much. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to restrain himself. In the future, he would break away from his original intention and bring harm to others. In fact, this kind of situation wasn't rare at all. Not to mention the Zhang family, the other aristocratic families, and even the emperor, couldn't completely follow the rules. It was just that there was a limit to it. Zhang Xiaobao nodded and said, "I'll tell my father about this when I go back. I'll ask him to discuss this issue with the students when he's at the Academy of Cultivation. People can't have things that limit themselves, otherwise they'll be like a wild horse that's out of control. It's very easy to get into trouble. We have to grasp the relationship between them well." Old Man Pai was satisfied. He was really afraid that the Zhang family would want to continue doing the same thing in the future after this matter was done. If that happened, no matter how many achievements Zhang Zhong had, it would be unbearable. Hearing Zhang Xiaobao say this, he knew that Zhang Xiaobao understood his meaning. While he was praising Zhang Xiaobao's intelligence, he also wanted to protect the Zhang family as much as possible. He couldn't let Zhang Zhong walk down the wrong path. After saying this, Old Man Pai began to play. With a bang, he hit the ball. Old Man Chong laughed loudly. "Good, that was a good shot. Thank you, Old Man Pai. You helped me get one in. I'll let you play again. Who knows, you might be able to help me get one in." Old Man Chong was very happy. Just now, he was afraid that Old Man Pai would hit the ball that was about to go into the hole. Now, he hit his ball into the hole and squeezed out the ball that should have gone in. Old Man Pai felt very depressed, but he still signaled Old Man Chong to play. Looking at Old Man Chang's proud expression, he said, "Be careful, I left the ball on the table. Seeing that you're so pitiful, I helped you get one in. I won't be merciful later. You have to be merciful. Otherwise, if you hit my ball in again, it'll be hard to say. Ha 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 ha." Old Man Chong shook his head, making the people around him laugh. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan looked at each other. They didn't expect that the two old men would be so funny together. There were only 6 balls left on the table. Counting the white balls, there were 7. The two played for half an hour before they finished. Zhang Xiaobao looked at the balls on the table that were arranged again. Suddenly he said, "Grandpa Bai, Grandpa Zhang, I'll play with you too. You two play the same ball, and I'll play the same ball. When the time comes, the 3 of us will play in turns. In other words, you two play twice, and I play once. What do you think?" As Zhang Xiaobao spoke, he moved a stool from the side. He was too short, so if he didn't step on the stool, he couldn't play. The two old men discussed for a while and nodded in agreement. They thought that there would be no problem if the two of them played one ball. However, after Old Man Pai directly exploded the ball with one shot, the two of them didn't touch the ball again. Zhang Xiaobao actually cleared the table with one shot. This was too easy for Zhang Xiaobao. Someone actually directly exploded the ball. The most important thing was that the hole was bigger than normal. He was afraid that the old man and old woman wouldn't be able to hit it because of their poor eyesight. Zhang Xiaobao was lucky. If the hole was bigger, it would be much easier, not to mention that this hole was half the size. Retracting his head, somersaulting, tilting his head, and even the reverse, forward, left, right, and so on were all used by Xiaobao. Perhaps because he was in good condition, he even added a stool and shot a spear. Seeing the ball jump up, fall onto the table, and roll into the pocket, this round was considered over. The two old men and the people around them were stunned. Wang Wan was also very impressed. She didn't expect Zhang Xiaobao to have such a move. It seemed that she had to ask Zhang Xiaobao if he had done anything like gambling in the past. Chapter 481. The two old men were the most shocked. They never thought that Zhang Xiaobao could play so well, especially that white ball. It seemed to be spinning non-stop. Every time it stopped, it was just right for him to comfortably hit a ball. This made the two old men really unwilling to accept, so they proposed to continue the game. This time, it was similar to the last time. Although they didn't clear the table in one shot, the two old men also didn't get any balls in. After playing 2 more games, the two old men finally gave up. "Xiao Bao, how do you play this ball? Can you teach us? It looks like you poked it once, but why did the ball come back one moment and then run to another place the next? We must learn this skill so that we can bully others." Old Man Pai was interested in this matter. He could not do anything else now. If he could learn this thing called billiards well, then it would be good to find a few more old men to compete with. Old Man Chong and the others who thought it was good nodded. Zhang Xiaobao naturally would not refuse. He planned to do so. Although elephant tusks were valuable now, there were many of them. When the time came, he would let people raise more elephants. He did not have to use wild elephant tusks. Moreover, the rules of billiards were in his hands. He at least knew what kind of cue and table were better. When the time came, there would be another business. Besides this business of making billiards, more importantly, he could also hold some competitions. No one else could grasp the rules better than him, so naturally, he would be the one to hold the competition. Then, there would be a referee. Even if someone else held the competition, they would have to get his approval first. Then, they would be able to collect more fees. If he held competitions in various places, he could sell some things on the spot. He could also continue to make money through advertising. As long as it was an entertainment competition, he would usually earn a lot of advertising fees. Then, Zhang Xiaobao began to teach a few simple methods. He did not say anything too complicated. Even if he taught them, they would not be able to learn it in a short time. This thing required talent and practice. He played thousands of set pieces a day. When the time came, he might make a mistake because of nervousness. He was in good condition today. Wang Wan saw Zhang Xiaobao teaching others and knew what he was thinking. When he was almost done teaching, the two of them let the old men practice by themselves. They were ready to leave. When they were already at the gate of the courtyard, Zhang Xiaobao patted his forehead and turned back. He said to Old Man Pai, "Grandpa Bai, I almost forgot about the important thing. Grandpa Bai, we want to set up an academy here. We need your help with this matter. What do you think?" Old Man Pai thought that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were just here to play for a while. He did not expect that they would ask for an academy. He also knew that if they wanted to set up an academy, money was not a problem. The most important thing was the teachers. After thinking for a while, he said, "We can find people, but it seems that you can't hold any competitions here, right? People from other places are too far away. It is impossible for them to come here. Otherwise, we can do a lot of things with the delay along the way. Grandpa Bai, it's fine as long as we can find people. We don't have to make a lot of money by setting up an academy. When the time comes, we can find more students and make more billiards. It can be their daily entertainment. If a student is not good at studying but is good at billiards, then we can give him a salary and let him develop in this area." Zhang Xiaobao said that he did not expect to make money at first, but as he spoke, his purpose was exposed. Old Man Pai really did not know what to say. He nodded and agreed to help find teachers. Then he said to Zhang Xiaobao, "How do you make money from billiards? Tell Grandpa." Of course, it's to be a billiards teacher and partner, or to play in a competition. Billiards are not something that ordinary people can play. It just so happens that there are many playboys. Let them play. After they are addicted to billiards, they will buy billiards. When they play, they will think of ways to learn more. I plan to set up a billiards class in the future. When the time comes, we will let these people teach those playboys. As for the fees, we will charge them less. Those who are willing to learn can learn, and those who are not can just wait to lose. I think they will want to learn something from this billiards class. What do you think, Grandpa Bai? Zhang Xiaobao did not hide anything and said his thoughts. After Old Man Pai heard this, he did not say anything. He really admired the Zhang family's ability to make money. They could even think of this. Ordinary people only knew how to make money by selling billiards. Now, many people knew how to make money by advertising during a competition. But this time, the Zhang family was setting up a class to teach billiards. Of course, he would not ask. If they taught others, then the class would not be able to continue. In that case, he knew that the more people who knew how to play, the more competitions there would be, and the number of people who played would also increase. Old Man Chong was also calculating how much money he could make in the future. This kind of billiards game was very interesting. After playing back and forth, he could distinguish between the winners and losers. After Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan left, he asked Old Man Pai, "Old Man Bai, don't you think there are other things like creating a competition when there's nothing to do? For example, a competition between craftsmen, or a competition between chefs. Not only can those who win get more glory, it can also increase the income of some shops, and it can also earn advertising fees from it. Especially an official competition like this, wouldn't it be able to get more benefits? If this thing works, not only can it let people get benefits, but it can also let some craftsmen work hard to improve their skills." That's right. Why didn't I think of this? We should talk to the people in the imperial court about this. We can't directly talk about money, or people will jump out to oppose. We should talk about how it can improve craftsmen's skills and make better things. The moment Old Man Bai heard this, he knew the benefits of it. He was very excited. Humans love to compare themselves with others, no matter what it was. Those who won would study hard in order to consolidate their position. Those who lost would also study hard in order to ascend to that glorious position. Most importantly, in the process of the competition, one could see how others were doing, and what their own weaknesses and strengths were. Some skills could be passed down. If ordinary craftsmen were to compete like this, then after improving, it would be more convenient for ordinary people to use all kinds of tools. If it was a competition between places like the Military Weapons Bureau and the Agriculture Temple, then it would be even more amazing if they could communicate with the craftsmen outside. As Old Man Bai thought about these things, he said, "Let's have a competition between all the professions. When the time comes, we can let them compete to see who can create new things and who can create better things. That way they can earn more glory. Do you understand?" "Of course. How can I not understand? Isn't the curved plow made by the Zhang family?" If it was a competition, it would be a great achievement if only one of the 100 new things was useful. Perhaps many people in the imperial court would look down on such a thing. They were all stupid from studying, but the emperor and some ministers would know the benefits of doing so. Yes, there must be a competition. The local competition will be a small one, and then the winners will be sent to the provincial middle school to continue the competition. Finally, they will go to the capital to compete. Level by level, level by level. When these people go back after the competition, they can continue to pass on what they have learned through the competition. However, if they let these craftsmen compete in a small place and they won, what should they do about the travel expenses? They will naturally rely on their craftsmanship to make money in that place, but once they go out, what will they do with their families? Old Man Chong had the same idea as Old Man Pai and added some benefits. But in the end, he thought of the most important problem. Old Man Bai was not anxious at all. He smiled and said, "This is simple. Of course, we have to give the winner something. Why don't we just give the money directly? As long as the winner gets this money, not only will it be enough for his family's living expenses, it will also be enough for his travel expenses." Are you going to ask who will pay for this? You don't need to pay for it, just those advertisements will be enough. And if they really make something new, it can be sold for money. Just like the Zhang family, they gave the technology to Zhou Shihu. In the end, Zhou Shihu made it first and sold it for a lot of money. Although others will learn from them, they can still make money in the early stages. This matter is decided. You and I will write a letter in a while. I will send the letter to Beijing. You can give this to your father. Old Man Pai was now clear about some of the Zhang family's tricks. He explained it to Old Man Chong. After Old Man Chong heard it, he thought it through. Although there were some benefits to doing this and some people would criticize it, so what? As long as it could improve the country's strength and make the people's lives better, those people were willing to say it. After the two finished discussing, they were no longer in the mood to play billiards and went back. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan returned home. Only then did they remember that they had not eaten with their two grandfathers. They were thinking too much and forgot about it. The two of them hurriedly ate some food and began to study the billiards. Neither of them looked down on this matter. Although it was just for entertainment, it was the most profitable. Moreover, the capital invested was not that much, and the speed of getting back the capital was very fast. During this time, let's start thinking about how to make billiards. And that ivory, what should we use to replace it? Are we close to the place where there are a lot of elephants? If there are no people from the Protection Association looking for trouble, let's get people to take a boat close to the seaside and get the ivory there. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan rested for a while after eating and then began to discuss this matter. This was another business, and a big one. Wang Wan thought for a while and said, "These things should be easy to get, or rhino horn or something. When the time comes, if we can find a substitute, it will be cheap. Do you think it can be made with isinglass and some stone powder? When the time comes, we can try it. That way, it can be popularized to the whole people. Those who are willing to play can play with a little money." Wang Wan actually did not agree to let everyone play billiards. After all, once there was such a game format, then naturally, it would become a gambling game. Some people would gamble less, and some would gamble more. Zhang Xiaobao had already discussed this issue with Wang Wan. It was impossible to not let people not gamble, unless it could really scare them. But even then, as long as there were benefits, then there would be people who would hide and gamble. Since this matter could not be put to an end, then let nature take its course. When Zhang Xiaobao heard that isinglass and other things were used to make the ball, he felt that it seemed to be feasible. Even if the craftsmanship was not good, it would not be a big deal. At most, it would break down quickly. After all, things like ivory were too expensive. Ordinary people could not afford it, so they could only go for the high end. Then find someone to try it. In addition to the things we mentioned, let them think about how to make such a ball. It doesn't need to be so crystal clear, as long as it can be used for collision, it will be fine. I will definitely make some billiard halls in every place in the country. Don't underestimate this kind of place. It is really profitable. If it is done well, it will be more profitable than some big business. Didn't you see what those billiard halls were like in the past? If it was not profitable, would those people fight for the position? Zhang Xiaobao began to prepare to set up a stall, but Wang Wan disagreed. "No, we can't set up so many billiard halls. We won't be the ones doing it. Do you really think you're the savior of the world?" As long as there were benefits, there would be conflicts in every place from small to large. Various forces, and some local people who want to get benefits from it, do you think they can be dealt with? Let them open it themselves. Let them open it wherever they think it is. We just need to make more things and wait for the time to sell it. Let's do it this way. Even if other people can copy it, we don't have to be afraid. When they're almost done copying, we'll have earned enough money. Yes, there's no such thing as a brand among ordinary people. If anyone can do it, they can play as long as they make it. Seeing Wang Wan's opposition, Zhang Xiaobao felt that it was true. In fact, he was preparing to cooperate with some local interests, but this stall was too big, and it was not easy to do. It was better to make and sell it honestly. However, he was not ready to let those who wanted to copy take advantage of it immediately. He said, "Then form a big factory and try to reduce the cost. Use the cheapest things to make those cases and balls. In the beginning, others don't have it, so it will be more expensive. During this process, we can research some medium things. When someone makes a copy, we will immediately lower the price of the bad ones and push up the price of the medium ones. As long as we are familiar with the production, we can buy raw materials in large quantities, and the cost will be reduced again and again. We can even control the origin of some raw materials. In this way, we are not afraid of the price of raw materials rising." "Okay, then let's do it. Let's go out for a walk and come back to sleep. If there is nothing else tomorrow, we will continue to study. As soon as Wang Wan heard Zhang Xiaobao's words, she understood what he meant. As long as those people imitated, the price of the raw materials would increase. When the time came, they could even make use of these imitations to earn a sum of money. And from the looks of it, Zhang Xiaobao was prepared to give up on the low-end market and let those imitators compete. On Lu Zhou's side, it was peaceful. Those who were supposed to do things were busy with their work. The construction of the infrastructure was still going on as usual. The fleet was still out fishing, and there was still the processing of mountain vegetables. Even Chao Harue and the other two began to think of doing something after they paid back the money. When they contacted Zhang Zhong, they did not talk too much. After all, the estrangement between them could not be removed so easily. They also didn't want to see Zhang Zhong too much. Right now, they only had an official position, but they didn't need to care about anything. This was good. As long as they had an official position, they would always have a salary. Right now, they could rely on their family members to do things outside to earn money, and also their own salary. Their days were pretty good. Although it was a bit dull, the three of them started to hate Lu Xiaoqing. Who told Lu Xiaoqing to speak about their matters? Of course, they also knew that they couldn't completely blame Lu Xiaoqing. When they left, they didn't say goodbye to Lu Xiaoqing. If they were in Lu Xiaoqing's shoes, they wouldn't be reconciled either. Now, Lu Xiaoqing used them to climb up the ranks. He had a job in the yamen, and those debts were erased. In terms of official position, the three of them were more powerful than Lu Xiaoqing. But in terms of real power, Lu Xiaoqing was much more powerful than them. Do we need to look for Lu Xiaoqing again? No matter what, we have to ask him why he betrayed us, right? Chao Harue felt that he could not take this lying down, even though he knew clearly that it was them who wanted to throw Lu Xiaoqing away. Fan Zhenqi also thought about this. When he heard Chao Harue's words, he said, "Forget it. In the future, the three of us will be one. Don't worry about him. If we provoke him now, it is very likely that he will not be kind to us. After all, he has a job now. This is an official position. It is better than idling around like us. And what if he asks us why we did not take him with us when we left? What should we say? If we can't find an excuse, we can just give him a random reason. Then he can just say that he drank too much and accidentally said it. Or that Zhang Zhong wanted to torture him. What can we do?" When he said this, Chao Harue was silent. After thinking for a while, he suddenly laughed and said, "In fact, we are really lucky. We met the Tang Dynasty Governor Ning and solved the problem. Lu Xiaoqing betrayed us. The problem is also solved. Don't you think the four of us are very interesting? I don't think we are better than Lu Xiaoqing. At least he can go back to work again. Going back to work is different from staying here. Zhang Zhong always gives some good things for the people in the yamen to take back home to enjoy. Some are food and some are tools. In this year, how many things have we lost? The most important thing is that Zhang Zhong seems to have let us go temporarily. Who knows if he will do something else? Remember, if someone comes to work with us in the future, no matter where they are, don't worry about them first. I am afraid that they will pretend to be outsiders and accidentally fall into the trap again. Let's just stay here for now. After this is over, we'll see if we can do some business again. Don't do business in Luzhou and avoid the Zhang family. This way, if Zhang Zhong makes a move again, at least we can maintain our business." Jiang Huanshe sipped his tea and said to the two people. This time, he was much more stable. He did not think about revenge, at least not for now. The only thing he wanted to do was to stay idle and see what Zhang Zhong was going to do. When the time came, he would write down these things and send them to the Tang Dynasty Governor Ning in Qinzhou. When the other two people heard this, they nodded. Chao Harue poured away the rest of the tea leaves and put in some new tea. He said, "Then, should we also make some shrimp sauce? I see that they are all making it. This time, we should do it well and not buy those expensive shrimp from outside. If the Zhang family makes a lot of money with this shrimp sauce, we can't just sit around and wait, right?" When Jiang Huanshe heard this, he put down the tea bowl and suggested, Then, let's make less shrimp sauce. Each of us can make 50 jars of it. Even if we can't sell it, we can keep it for ourselves. As long as it is salty, it can be kept for a longer time. I see that they have a lot of wild vegetables. Why don't we learn from them? When the time comes, no matter how the Zhang family does it, we can just follow and pick the wild vegetables ourselves. It won't cost us money. The three of them discussed some more details before they returned to their respective homes to rest. After this dangerous trip, the three of them were much more mature than before. Whether it was when they were bullied or when they encountered the strong wind, they had changed a lot. They were fine now, but Zhang Zhong was in trouble. More than 50 boatmen were detained by the mountain villagers. Jiang Huanshe and the other two people concealed some of the details and asked Zhang Zhong to help them think of a solution. The three of them could fork out some money, but they would never go there again. Zhang Zhong had no choice but to start making arrangements. He felt that this was an opportunity for the mountain villagers to come down the mountain and do something. There were more than 500 mountain villagers there. If these people came down, Lu Zhou's construction work would be slightly faster. After all, 20,000 people were only 40 times more than 500 people. If these people really came down, they could form a team to do other things. With that in mind, Zhang Zhong began to give orders. First, he asked someone to bring some things to the mountain villagers. Among the things he brought, there were cloth and some food that the mountain villagers had never eaten before. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.